We now return to our drama series, The World vs. Prison Pigeon. In today's thrilling episode, Prison Pigeon's court case comes to an end.
All rise for the Right Honourable Judge Lurpak.
Order! Order! Jury, you have had 2 weeks' deliberation. Have you made your judgment?
We have, Your Honour. We find Prison Pigeon guilty on all counts of being a monster.
Prison Pigeon, you came before the court for crimes against man, including the theft of bread, graffiti, various vandalism, and most disgustingly egg-throwing. What do you have to say for yourself?
Sham! Oval! Mistaken identity!
Taking into account your trauma of being brought up with Jim Davidson, I must also consider the arrest in Pakistan for being a spy. That might be the case, but your record isn't favourable. I sentence you to community service under the guidance of the Channel 84 variety show.
Welcome back to the show where two men just want to sit back and chat. So, let me introduce my co-host. We call him Lord of the Lurpak. We have Rob.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm famous now, Lurpak, liking my
The man
tweets.
who had Heinz and Lurpak.
Heinz have liked it.
Yeah, no, but so someone was saying Heinz,
yeah,
Lurpak on
yeah.
the table, living the life of luxury there. But no, yes, Lurpak liked your tweet. You didn't even mention Lurpak. So they either looked at the tweet that came afterwards of someone somewhat ribbing you for having
Killer
Lurpak.
Rabbit, yeah, whoever was writing on the Killer Rabbit podcast.
They looked at the image. I don't know. But either way, Lurpak liked your post.
Yeah, and it's a big tub of Lurpak too. I was feeling flush that day, I think.
Ooh.
Well, I posted that and I thought someone's going to complain that there's a Jeremy Clarkson lager there. I thought I was going to get a comment going, oh, chauvinist, drinking the chauvinist beer. Like one of my neighbours said to me, whilst me and her husband were drinking it. Like,
Oh, really?
You're going to turn into a couple of chauvinists. It's just going to us.
Oh, dear.
So then, as we started getting deeper into the booze that day, we started getting sexist comments and stuff just to wind her up.
Oh,
Anyway,
dear.
having fun. So, sorry, I was a bit late today.
That's not a problem.
The reason-
I presume parenting got in your way.
The reason for my tardiness was twofold.
Okay.
First one was we missed T's bedtime, so it was late, so he was overtired, and he messed around. And
I
was
know that all
lying in
way
bed.
too well.
The second reason was I got to the car, and I'm going to show you what I found when I went to grab the door handle. Now, bear in mind, did I mention about I haven't done bird watch for you for all. Remember I had those two birds in the front garden.
Yeah,
Oh,
you went for Vietnamese spike weapons to try and take out the
Yeah, I've
pigeon,
got
and
an
they got
update.
round it.
I've got an update for that.
Oh, God,
this
go
might
on.
be related. Whereas I went to get to the door, and we haven't driven the car in 2 days because the wife's been working from home and it's been very hot. Well, this, I'm going to show you a picture, must have happened 2 days ago because now it's set like concrete.
That is full on bird diarrhea down your door and handle.
An albatross has gone to the toilet on my car door handle.
I think Prison Pigeon's getting his own back on you there.
Yeah, I think I've been drive-by'd by Prison Pigeon because it's atrocious. And I was like, oh, I'll just go inside and get the wipes. Come out, it's like concrete. I'm going to need a pneumatic drill on that.
Jeez,
Yeah,
that's brutal. Well, we'll put that up on the webpage for all of you animal scat lovers. You can go and have a look at that lovely picture.
That wasn't the bird chat I actually wanted to talk about. The bird chat I wanted to talk about was the magpie and the pigeon. I don't remember what I called them at the time. They now don't come anymore. Now just one pigeon comes.
Oh, no.
Now, whether it's the same pigeon or not, I don't know. But my next door neighbour, the soffits of their loft extension has dropped, and a pigeon has made a nest in the gap. And I've
Right.
noticed that pigeon flies down to that birdseed and takes the birdseed up.
Nice.
And I'm going through birdseed like you will not believe. And I've now got 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a family of pigeons as my dependents.
Hey!
So I'm spending all of my bird seed feeding this pigeon and their babies. And I feel like I have to keep topping it up because I don't want the
other birds to suffer, but you don't get other birds.
Yeah.
It's just the fat pigeons.
I think it's just the fat pigeon.
It's like the peanuts. We get them for the squirrels, and that's fine. But the seed is for all the birds. But no, fat pigeon just sits there waiting for it to rain down on him, and he just opens his mouth, and he's like a pig in shit. That pigeon in our garden. Have I ever told you about the black widow pigeon?
No.
Right. Okay. So this happened a couple of years ago. And I swear she still exists. So 2 years ago, there were pigeons having sex in the middle of the road.
Nice.
And I beat my horn and they wouldn't get out of the way. And I thought, well, I'm not going to stop. I've got a car behind me. And just at that last moment, woman pigeon throws man pigeon off the back. She gets out the way. Man pigeon goes splat. So I was thinking, well, no, you know what? It's unlucky for man pigeon. The next day, and I mean the very next day, same thing again, 2 pigeons having sex. Bottom one escapes, top one, it's a black widow pigeon.
Now,
and this happened 2 weeks ago. Again.
Now, did you clear up the first pigeon?
No, I was driving. They pretty much...
So it's not a case that she's just come back for seconds?
Oh,
on a pigeon that may or may not have been complicit in
No. These pigeons, with the puff of feathers, suggest these pigeons didn't walk it off and think the next day I'm feeling a bit randy, so we'll go back to it. No, they were dead.
Wasn't there a couple of pigeons shagging when we were all round here for a barbecue last? On your fence at the back?
Yeah. There's Randy Pigeon on the fence as well, who constantly pesters and follows around.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's her. I'm wondering if she basically is like, yeah, hello, I know where you live. Look, I've got another man after me. Watch out, you and your car, because you're going to kill us.
Maybe she
or you're going to kill him.
Trying to make you jealous.
What? I'm not a pigeon fancier. I'm fancied by pigeons.
Yeah, you like this? You like what you see? Yeah, you like what you see, TJ?
Oh,
come ruffle my feathers.
Come play with my quacker.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, in today's episode we have Do You Remember? We have the taste test, which Rob has provided this week. We have the Channel 84 Variety Nostalgic Kids Show Knockout.
Woo,
Trek and Sci-Fi Chat's back. Not Star Trek, but it is Sci-Fi Chat. And then we're heading into our main topic, which is just things we haven't talked about that we've kind of missed out chatting on because the last few episodes... I mean, who am I kidding? We're always a long podcast. But we've kind of run out of time about things that we're just general life things. So that's what we're going to kind of trying to cover today. A few topics that would have come up that we wanted to bring up.
I'll have a little bit of fun for you in the main chat too.
Oh, okay. And then we're doing the quiz at the end, are we? Or is that part of what you're talking about?
Oh, we've got that subject, but yeah, wherever it ends up.
So there is a quiz as well. We're not stealing that from You Killer Rabbit podcast. Honestly, Rob always used to give me terrible BuzzFeed quizzes on the phone. I'd get a random phone call at 9 o'clock at night. I'd be like, Rob, I'm in Audi. What is it? BuzzFeed quiz time. Okay.
What was that?
You haven't done that for ages.
What was the app we used to use?
I can't remember its
Anchor.
name. No, it wasn't Anchor. Anchor's the one we used for the podcast.
Sorry.
I honestly can't remember what it was, but yeah, there was
like
one.
a Talking Heads podcast app.
It was. We should probably start using it again if it still exists. That
if
was quite
it's quality,
fun.
if it's any good. But I used to call you on that because it would record.
That's it.
Both of us, and I would call you or I'd call Telf with different BuzzFeed quiz, and then we would post them automatically.
Yeah.
It's always quite fun.
Okay, well, we will jump into Do You Remember? So enjoy the glorious theme tune, which I'm still one day hoping someone will re-record so it's not my dulcet tones you're listening to.
And now a change of pace with a trip into nostalgia as we play Do You Remember?
Do you remember the shit that I bought? Remember? Did you give it a thought? Remember? It's probably tat, that's all. Woo! So last episode, Rob, you won. You got a point, making it 7-6 to you. You bought the Shock Tanks, I bought the Smegazine. You didn't remember Smegazine, which is fair enough. It was probably that 2 years difference between us is enough to make a huge difference in this game, I've discovered.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm not surprised there. Now, I'm not going to make that same mistake because I was thinking in the car earlier, right, who went first last week? Because I'm not going to say.
You keep saying,
I keep going first. You go first, Rob. No, I'm going to go first.
Yeah, you should go first.
And weirdly, I'd already set in my head that this was going to be today's one.
Yeah.
And then Twitter has been packed with this,
I've not been on Twitter
which is really
other
good.
than my post specifically.
Which is good because you won't have seen what I've been retweeting, which won't have reminded you of this. Because one of my, there's been like 3 people that have posted it, and I'm really excited by it. So did you know, first of all, Quake 2 has finally had its remastering released even.
No, you've spoken about it before to me.
So Quake 2 is an amazing game, but Quake 2 looks dated now. Now, Quake a couple of years ago, again, amazing game, got a full-on remaster, and it looked beautiful. You know, ray tracing, all that sort of stuff.
I've seen some videos.
Brilliant game, well worth playing through. I was always like, well, where's Quake 2? Come on, that's the one I want to be remastered. Well, they've finally remastered it, and it looks beautiful. And they've even changed some of the AI and the bad guys, which in one way, if you watch, there's a YouTuber called G-Man Lives who does really in-depth, brilliant videos. In fact, he's just released an hour and a 20-minute video on PlayStation 1 first-person shooters.
Cool.
Rating them from top to bottom, and it's a really good video. And I didn't know Men in Black had a first-person shooter at the end of the life of the PlayStation based on the cartoon, and it looks really good.
Based on the cartoon.
Yeah, so I'm going to dump that on the RP3
Cell
Plus
shaded,
to play it.
kind of like 13 was, if you remember that game.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, but no, it wasn't, sadly, but it still looked good, especially for PS1. Anyway, the studio that did Quake 2's remaster has announced it's remastering 2 other games. Turok 3 is one of them.
Yep, love it.
Which is cool. And then this game, which I personally consider to be the best Doom clone. So it's an early first-person shooter.
Okay.
And I personally think it's the best of the Doom, or one of the best of the Doom clones. So, I mean, what Doom clones do you know?
Well, I'd class Wolfenstein as a Doom clone, but I don't really know if it really is.
Well, Wolfenstein came before Doom. It's kind of made by the same company, made by ID.
I didn't really think
Wolfenstein was their first attempt at it, and then Doom followed up and went, wow, boom.
Pretty much all shooters really around that time were.
Well, yeah, so Duke Nukem 3D is one that most people come to, I think. There was a terrible one based on William Shatner's book called Tech War. Oh, God, there was so many first-person shooters.
Now, before you pull this out, there is a game that I wanted to use, and do you remember?
Oh, really?
But I was always like, I can't find it for the price that I wanted to buy it. And I'm not going to say what it is in case I do eventually use it, and I'd love it to be this.
Okay, well, I bought it for $4.99 on eBay in a big box.
Oh, it's a big box, but I really hope it's the one.
It's not a proper big box. It's one of those cut-down boxes because it was what PlayStation called the Platinum re-releases. You know, it's one of those re-release boxes.
Yeah.
It is possibly my favourite first-person shooter called Dark Forces. Not Dark Forces 2, which was an amazing game. I had that on my first gaming PC I ever built. But this is the original Dark Forces. So a proper Doom clone, 2.5D style, set in the Star Wars universe. You've got all the Star Wars weapons. You've got a load of Star Wars characters in there, plus some extras that they've kind of pulled out of the books. And it's just a really solid game. It's got really good level design. It's got good sound design. There's really not much you can't not like about Dark Forces.
They brought this out on the consoles, didn't they?
They did. There was a PlayStation version. I don't think it got onto the Saturn.
And I'm afraid that's why you won't be getting a point.
Oh, you twat.
Because of our Retroids.
Oh, really?
And I was looking for the ROMs for this during our Retroid experiment.
Did you ever play this?
Yes,
it's a brilliant.
Absolutely love it.
Some of the cheats on it were wonderful as well. So there was the cheat that you could freeze any bad guy, all the bad guys. Then you would get all weapons. Well, this is what I used to do. Because I used to play this around a friend called David Rolfe's house, and we used to play this all the time. But yeah, one of the cheats, you froze everyone. Then you got either the landmines or the missiles, and you just pumped a stormtrooper full of it. And then when you unfroze them, rather than them just dropping to the floor and dying, they would get the result of all of those explosions. So often you just see the stormtrooper explode off into the sky and disappear.
There's a picture of a stormtrooper getting blown up here. Yeah, sorry, mate.
Again, it's LucasArts when they made amazing games.
Yeah,
so
when LucasArts
TIE
meant something.
X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, Rebel Assault.
The thing is, it's the cover art is iconic. This cover art, it's everything about Star Wars games back then is this cover art of the stormtrooper, the guy getting blown up behind.
But yeah, for $4.99, I thought it was a great purchase. There you go. It was the white label. That was the re-release box for this
like
one.
the Platinum range, essentially, isn't it?
In effect, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of games I used to remember friends having were by Kix, Kixx, and they were this magnetic fold case, which looked amazing, but it was just nowhere near as good as a big box. So, damn it. Okay, so I've lost.
Sorry.
I've not got a point this week. So
it was a really good one, and if we hadn't been messing around with the Retroids,
I would have
which
got
is
the
less
right-
than a
yeah.
year, I think.
Oh,
then-
easily.
Then you would have got it. You definitely would have got it.
God damn it.
Now mine didn't arrive, the one I wanted to use, so I'm picking up one that I had kept in the wing as like a.
No, well, that's fine.
So let's see. I think you will know this. You'll definitely 100% know it. But
I've still got 2 in the bag.
Yeah. So here we go. Excuse me for a moment.
Always move the mic out the way, so it's back to my dulcet tones, and welcome back to the podcast where I talk like a very boring man.
Do you know what it is?
It is a terrible, terrible Xbox 360 Kinect.
It is.
And I've seen it, I remember it, and I've also thought about it recently.
Oh no.
Because I went past a shop that was still using it in their window
Oh,
to
really?
control
For what?
their. They had a couple of TV screens in it, and every time people walked past, it was one of those ones. It picked up the body, and you could dance in front of it, and it was
Yeah,
making
like
people
Dance
dance.
Nation or something, yeah.
It wasn't plugged into an Xbox; it was plugged into the PC because that was the big thing about the Kinect. They
Yeah.
released the APKs for it. APKs.
Yeah.
SDKs, not
SDKs.
APKs. Sorry, they released the software development kits for it, so you could program it. And a lot of people used it for PCs for really clever reasons.
Fun fact: I have 2 of these. A 361, the original one, which is what this is.
Yeah, and then one
Where
for
I had
the
to
one.
buy this separately, and then the one that came with my Xbox One is lying around somewhere. Excuse me.
Did you ever make use of it though? Because it came across to me that it was a great bit of technology, a little bit ahead of its time, but really underutilized, like most things are when it comes to gimmicky kind of hardware for consoles.
I think just to correct myself, I think I might have given the Xbox One back because I traded that console in, so that probably went with it. I used it. I broke it within the first couple of days because
Well done.
I put it on top of the television.
Yeah.
Now these older ones have a mechanical gears in there. It moves, it tilts automatically.
Oh, I didn't know
It
that.
will, goes and it will move. Fell off the back, down the back of the TV, snapped this inside. So I had to RMA it. And when I spoke to the RMA lady on Microsoft, she said this is the first one that I have any knowledge of being sent back.
Oh, really?
Damage. They didn't have to do that because it was my fault.
No, absolutely.
Because I hadn't correctly connected the TV
the
bracket
base
thing,
to it, and
and it fell off. Yeah.
it's
Did
good
I
that
use
they
it
did.
much? Yeah, very good than they did. Did I use it much? Not really. It seemed like an amazing thing at the time, and when you actually had it in your hands, it was really underwhelming. It didn't work very well, and you had to have the lighting perfect. You had to have the exact right amount of space. All very difficult. I've got a fairly large living room at the time, and even then, it wasn't enough space for
Well,
it.
that's it. I remember a lot of reports about it being that if you don't have the space, you ain't going to play with
You're
it.
only like 6 foot away from it or something. People don't really have that.
Not
'Cause your sofa's
easily.
there.
Exactly. If I wanted to have it in this office, for example, which is my kind of man cave stroke, my home office, there's no way it would work in here.
You'd have to do it long ways, and you couldn't use it because you wouldn't be able to go left and right.
Exactly. So yeah, no, it would never have been used by me. And I mean, it's just ultimately it's a technology. It's been trumped by personal VR kit now, hasn't it? The Oculus Quest and the Quest 2. I've got the Quest 2 over there, which is an amazing thing. And as long as I go in the front room, it works even with a fairly minimal space because you can set it to sit down mode. And yeah, some of the games don't work well in that.
Yeah.
But they've thought about it.
That brings me to a loan item I'm lending you.
Okay.
As part of this, do you remember? You will remember this. We've spoken about it before. I have got something that was given to our company by a client, and I want you to play around with it. I'll have it back when you're done with it, but I
Yeah.
want you to mess around with it.
Oh, this is the Oculus development kit.
This is for anybody that spent loads of money on their Kickstarter. This is what you got, the Dev Kit 1. So that is for you to play around with if you'd like. You don't have to, but if you'd like to, before it goes back to the archive at my house.
The archive at your house. Nice. Sounds like you've got the vaults. No, I will have a play around with that. That's very,
You'll have to
very
hunt for the
cool.
drivers because I struggle to find the drivers nowadays.
No, that's fine.
the software.
Archive.org will have them.
Yeah.
Amazing place, by the way. Always go and support them. If you've got a couple of quid spare, jump onto archive.org. They've got the links up now so you can donate money to them. Donate that couple of quid, because I tell you now, 10 years time, they will have stuff on there that you will be desperate for in this generation of kind of hardware. Because they've got a load of stuff from my generation that I loved, kind of that Windows 95 era. And every day people are putting up new archive stuff, and it is just disappearing. And the likes of like the marketplaces now, it's a joke. So somewhere like archive needs to exist. Otherwise, these things are gone. We'll never see them again.
You've got a Quest 2, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
It'd be interesting if you could do a comparison by how far they got. They're the same company, so interesting to get your perspective of where they are now on the Quest 2 compared to that very first kit that they made.
Let me put it this way. Early VR makes me feel horribly nauseous to my stomach. The Quest 2 I can do for at least 45 minutes and it doesn't make me feel shit.
I'm waiting for the Quest 2 to get really cheap because I've wanted one for a long time.
The Quest 3 is due out any time now, so they'll be ramping the price down soon.
Did I tell you I was on the brink of buying it, and then when I went to buy it, and the
bonus games that came with it had gone.
No, and they put it up by 100 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah, the day before I decided I wanted to get it. I sat on it for so long. And
Black
now
Friday.
Like,
Black Friday will be the time to buy it. And then that will be because the Quest 3 will have come out. And I don't know if it will be worth it. I think it probably will be worth the upgrade to the Quest 3, but only for the users that make heavy use of it. I use mine once every couple of weeks, if that. So really... I won't. I'll keep the Quest 2 until it stops getting games, and then I'll think about it.
So no one got a point?
No one got a point this week. So,
oh, hello? Who's that? Oh, it's Prison Pigeon has arrived. Hello, mate.
Prison Pigeon. Yeah, you're reporting for community service, are you? Language, you bastard. That's disgusting.
Disgusting. How dare you?
No.
What is it? What have you got in your clutches, young man?
That looks like it's from Sam from the Killer Rabbit podcast, I think.
Be careful with it. Be careful with it.
So let's very, very... Fuck's sake, Prison Pigeon, you're a little shitbag.
Be careful, Prison Pigeon.
I will go back to the judge and I will tell him that you need to head off for another sentencing.
Hold on, mate. Calm down.
You're stuck with us. Don't show him what you've done to... Oh, I've run over your brothers, mate. I won't have any problem doing it to you. Anyway.
Get down there, you dirty git.
So, Sam of the Killer Rabbit podcast has sent me an email, which has been very kindly printed off and delivered. I mean, I could have done it digitally, but Prison Pigeon, at least you're doing something with your life. Yeah. We're of a similar age, so I'm hoping you remember this. If you don't, you truly missed out. Wool's Romantica ice cream cake. It was a bit like Viennetta in cake form, but was far superior. It has... it has these awesome little chocolatey balls, butterscotch caramel flavours, bang on flavouring there, and this amazing hazelnutty biscuity layer that was just divine. The advert is here, and I'll put that up on the webpage. We'll put it over on Twitter as well. Man, I miss this stuff. Keep up the great work, chaps. Sam KRP, and he sent us the box art for it, and I do remember that. But I have not thought about it.
I remember that's something my nan would have. Yeah,
that is.
He gets a point.
That
definitely.
Sunday tea.
Yeah,
people are coming over. Quick run to Ramish. What have you got? That'll do.
Yeah, I recognise that. I recognise it.
I really want that now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a subject we can talk about. And food stuff you would bring back. Things like secret bars or Cadbury shots. This is on that list to bring it back.
Because it's obviously Viennetta now is the closest thing, isn't it? The best part of that is the little frilly bits on the edge. You always eat them first, don't you? You know what I mean?
But Viennetta's also impossible to cut.
Well, if
you cut it and it just demolishes.
You kind of have to leave it on the side for a bit. Let it soften a little bit.
It softens a little bit. Then you cut, and it just slides instead.
Yeah, because
you cut it when it's too cold, it just crunches and explodes. Yeah. And then when you cut it when it's slightly melted, everything slides off the chocolate sheet. It's a shit. Yeah. Anyway, right, Prison Pigeon, is there anything else in the mailbag? I said, stop it with the language, you shitbag, or I will go back to the judge. Just give us what you've got in your fucking little clutches there.
Get out of here, mate.
Yeah, no, right, Pigeon, go back off to your little house on the roof. Go on, off you go. Okay, we also had a Twitter message from Mr. Court. Mr. Court is Karen's husband.
Yay.
So Karen hasn't put an entry in. Oh, actually, I don't think she's put an entry in. Hang on a moment. Let me just quickly double check because I don't want to upset anyone there.
Danger here. They could get, if she has, they could get 3 points and be very quickly sneaking up on us.
Oh, no, she didn't. She just said, though, she's 100% with us on Christopher Eccleston. He was the right choice for the relaunch of Doctor Who.
Yeah, good.
Good, absolutely. Karen, you're not getting a point, but at least you agreed with us.
Yeah.
No. So Mr. Court said, do you remember Rock Lords? I thought I only had 2. After seeing the collection, turns out I had 6. And let me show you a picture. They are...
Okay, do I remember the name? No. I probably remember it if I look at it.
So they're a 1986, 1987 release, but that doesn't mean anything. Those toys, especially as it was made by Tonka Bandai, would have just gone on for years. They were called Rock Lord action figures. They were a spin-off from Bandai's Machine Robo GoBots Toilet. Why can I not speak when we record?
You say toilets?
Toy line.
Toy line. I'm going to reach over for the phone.
Yeah, I've just zoomed in on it, so slide left and right so you can have a look.
At first I was like, no, but I recognise Nugget.
You recognise
Nugget, the really gold one is the one I recognise. I've got to admit, I don't recognise any of the others, but I do recognise Nugget.
Oh.
I wonder if my friend Mark had these. That's why I recognise Nugget.
We'll have to do a...
Yeah. So for he must get a point from my side because I recognise Nugget. I don't know the name, but I recognise Nugget.
Well, I don't recognise it at all, full stop.
Okay.
I don't remember it. I don't remember these existing. And it's interesting because like we said about that 2-year difference, I would have thought I would have had a better chance of remembering this than you. But then you saying Mark had them, he's
Mark's
my
age.
age.
Yeah, he's the same age as you. And I've got a feeling he had some of those.
See, I could show you this picture that I then sent. Because
who did you send it
I
to?
replied this to Mr. Court. Oh man, these remind me of these too. I didn't tell him whether or not I remembered. I specifically didn't because I wanted him to listen to the podcast and find out.
Yeah.
So sorry, yeah, you don't get a point because
No, 'cause
as
we
the
both
rules
have
go
to.
for guests, you've got to get a check from both of us.
Yeah. So they just live in a 0-point house, those two, don't they? That's a shame.
No, they've got 1 point. The first thing Karen sent, we both...
Oh, I take that back then. They're a 1-point house.
They're a 1-point house at the moment. I'll show you because, I'm never going to get hold of one of these. And
He has to make the tea for the next
I
fortnight
really
then.
wish I'd never sold this. I sold it at a car boot sale when I was small.
Right.
And they're like £100 each now. Made by Bandai. They were called Tamagoras. They were a transforming toy. And they were skeletons.
That's horrifying, and I've never seen that before ever.
They fold into an egg. And then you unfold them from the egg and they're a skeleton.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
I loved it. It was I was just so disappointed in past me. Bad past me.
So for the next fortnight, that means Karen is still in charge of that household.
Yeah,
and
Karen is getting to wear the trousers for that household.
He has to make all the cups of teas, clean all the plates, do all the washing for the next fortnight.
Yeah.
That's his punishment.
Sam at KRP, you get a point this week because
And the same.
both of us remember it, but we didn't think about
Mr.
it.
Court has to do all of his washing too. I think there might be a little bit of distance between where they all live, but,
Oh, well.
I'm sure Prison Pigeon can help them out with that one.
Exactly. We'll send it by carrier pigeon. Okay. Well, let's have a little bit of an advert, shall we?
Hi kids. Do you like chocolate? Do you like ice cream? Do you like toys? Then have we got a product for you. Reconstituted prune mush.
Yummy!
That's right. The Channel 84 variety show is brought to you today by Perry's Reconstituted Prune Mush.
Get your taste buds ready for another tasting session with Tom and Rob. Delicious.
Hello, and welcome to the ASMR section of the podcast. Where today
Delicious.
we're going to be eating a hot pepperoni pork sausage.
Yeah, so Rob has bought a pork sausage to put in my mouth. It's just horribly filthy.
And we're then going to fill your sweetness with a Jaffa donut. New and original, by the way, not new and original, I'd just like to say, because I've seen these a few years ago. And also, when I was in the Tesco's that you hate, not that long ago, there was one woman putting these out by the shitload. and complaining that they'd been in the back room for months and they hadn't been putting them out, and was complaining that they should have gone out ages ago.
Delicious.
So these aren't from there, I'd like to say. These are from my local corner shop.
So, yeah, the old Jeff Donut, that's a great question. When do you stop putting new and original on the packaging of a product you've released? There must be a limit. According to trading law, there must be a limit for that.
Well, I imagine they've got a long date on them, but this is the 4th of December 2023, so not long.
Crikey.
So I think this...
That's a last year's product,
this
isn't it?
is a last year's one. And the drink.
Oh, yes, we have a drink.
It's 59 pence. Whether I paid that, I'm not sure. A company called Bar, and it's bubblegum flavour. No sugar.
Bubblegum drink. So really, Bar has taken over that empty shelf spot that Panda Piss used to have. I mean, Panda Pops used to have.
Oh, okay. This is the equivalent, is it?
Yeah, basically, because if you look at their list of drinks they've got Cherryade, Limeade, Bubblegum, Cream Soda. My only issue with them is they've got rid of sugar. They are all sugar-free products, so they are all just aspartame,
they're full of aspartame,
which is really, really disappointing. Because what I long for is the shelf to have just lots of drinks that an adult can go, you know what? I'm going to choose to be unhealthy today, not have it forced down my throat that I've got to be healthy. I want to choose the sugar version.
That's why I've been getting every now and again full fat Cokes.
Yeah, exactly.
For that exact reason. So I think that we should have a sip of the drink and the donut before we have the pepperami, because I've had the pepperami and you won't be able to taste anything else afterwards.
Fair enough. And can I just point out, everyone, yes, I know the advert was for the pepperami fire stick, which I'm not even sure you can buy anymore.
No, this is the only one I've seen.
That is the pepperami spicy we're eating today, but the pepperami fire stick advert was just funnier, so that's why I grabbed it.
So what would you like to go for first? Would you like a bit of drink or just like a Joe Nut?
Well, why don't you serve up the drink? Oh, crikey, I'm smashing the place up. I'm going to open up the Joe Nut, you sort out the drink, and then we'll swap. Film recycled. At least the food isn't recycled.
You've got to do 3 taps.
It doesn't do anything.
I think you find it might do.
I don't believe you for the second. Now, what I was going to say, just...
Oh, wow, look at the colour.
Oh, wow, nice food
and
cut.
the smell.
That's going to be an E-coloured...
Lord, that's a strong smell.
You remember the Adam and Joe show, yes?
Yes.
Do you remember their XFM radio show? I know I keep promising to send you the link for it.
I never listened to it, but I know it. I heard, like...
It's amazing, but there's an entire bit where they they go after Jaffa Cakes by basically saying... on the packaging and the advertising saying it's recommended by sports nutritionists, which they did at one point. Not. So they phoned the helpline, and you've got Adam Buxton pretending that he's addicted to Jaffa Cakes and saying to them, oh, I've eaten like 12 packets today already, and I think I've got a problem, because they did an advert that said the Jaffa Cake hotline, phone up, and it just turned out to be a voicemail.
So this might be a load of rubbish, and please everyone correct me. Didn't they win the case about whether they had to pay?
And that's it. They proved they were
because of how they go stale. Because they go hard, not soft.
A cake will go hard, a biscuit will go soft, and their argument in court, so they didn't have to pay basically what's called a luxury tax, which is what chocolate biscuits have to pay. Why do I know this shit? I don't know. I think that's all been overturned anyway. I'm pretty sure they basically are under the luxury tax. I don't think they get taxed as a cake anymore. I'm sure someone can fill me in on that whole debacle. But yeah, basically they argued, as we go hard, not soft, we cannot be a biscuit. We must be a cake, and therefore you must tax us as such. But as I say, I'm pretty sure that's been overruled, overturned, fought many times. Yeah. I'm just going to bite this Joe Nut.
Well, there's only one, so break it.
That's true. There you go. You can have half a Joe Nut.
Thank you.
And I'm going to nom it now. Oh, it's stale.
It's got something. Is it?
Well,
I only brought it yesterday.
When you put it in your mouth, either that or it's just...
Sinuendo Central.
It's dry. I was expecting that to be really nice, moist donut sort of, but that is like a donut that's been left out and you come back to it the next day. So it's dry. Flavour's there. I'd rather have a Jaffa Cake.
It tastes like a Jaffa Cake, but not a nice soft Jaffa Cake.
And
Like,
also,
what's that wet bit in the middle of it? Oh, that's
that's the Jaffa.
Oh, I've dropped some in my drink. Can I just say this drink stinks?
Oh, I haven't sniffed it yet. I will do in a moment. I'm really disappointed by that. Also, how much was it?
Oh. I don't remember.
I bet you.
Remember these
I
things?
bet you it was like at least 80p.
Doesn't sound it, does it?
It doesn't, but okay. I'm gonna
You
say.
get one in it too.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's at least 80p. Bear in mind that most places now do their own variety of Jaffa cakes. So going to Tesco, there's Tesco own brand. 59p, you get an entire pack. What are you going to choose? A Jonah or a 59p own brand whole pack of Jaffa cakes? I'm going for the Jaffa cakes every time. That
Right.
was...
My ulcer's not very happy about that. Oh my god.
My face isn't happy about that. That is a full-on...
So dry.
It is. It's really dry. I don't know if that's just because of the age of it, if it's better when it's fresh and hasn't been stored out the back of everyone's stock rooms, or if that's how it is. But that is a 3-point disappointment.
I could say something really rude.
Go on then.
I'd call it a 2-point nun's cooch.
Nice.
That's what that is, but that's quite rude for me.
I'm so tempted to beep that bit out so it sounds like you've been really racist.
Yeah, that's...
There's a 2-point beep. Rob said something
Yeah, I think you should
horrible,
beep it because that's
everyone.
a bit rude for me. Yeah, it's dry.
Yeah, dry, doesn't taste as good as a Jaffa cake, and doesn't give you the satisfaction of eating a Jaffa cake.
I like Jaffa cakes.
I do.
Wasn't too fond of that.
I will eat an entire pack in one sitting.
Not as bad as a Lion Bar. That white Lion Bar is still the worst thing.
That was
I
just...
think that's the worst thing because of the disappointment level.
Exactly. It was disappointing when it should have been exciting, especially when we'd had those white chocolate munchies that had Karamak in them.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna nearly
Those-
knee-rubbing territory.
They were, oh yes.
They are top tier.
But the Lion Bar was, if they had that same white chocolatey flavour, boom. But no,
They were a 6-point change your underwear. Well, aren't they? Those things are fantastic.
They are.
You even got trouble for giving me the rest of the pack. That's how good they are.
Yeah, I had to go out the next day and buy a new pack so my wife could have them.
Okay, so
And then she promptly then said, I don't think much of them. Fuck you.
get stuff. So you know those bubble gum machines where you put the money in, turn them on, but this smells exactly like that.
Yeah, I know what. Yeah,
It's meant to smell like bubble gum, and
So-
it worked. It smells like bubble gum.
So at Palm, I used to go to a secondary school called Palmer's, and at the end of every day in the summer, the ice cream van would pull up.
Screwball.
No, what we used to do, we used to scrounge around the floor because we were kids at that point with very little money, and we'd spend it all on things like terrible bacon baps and sausage baps at breakfast and lunch. Quick scrape around on the floor, guarantee you'd find at least 20p's worth of 2p's, and we'd just get a bag of gumballs because they were 2p each. And that, you're right, it's that smell of that bag of those gumballs.
Yeah, it smells. Imagine you brought a screwball with the blue sauce on it, and then that's got onto the bubble gum at the bottom. You know when you bite into those bally bubble gums and it's got the air in it and a bit of air puffs out.
Yeah.
This is that. Anyone that can think of this is that.
gumball air.
This is gumball. Let's have a taste.
Yeah, go on. I'll have a taste at the same time. It's not unpleasant. I'm surprised. I was genuinely going to say, I bet this is going to be really sweetener heavy. It's going to have no flavour, or the other side, it's going to be so flavoured it leaves an aftertaste in your mouth. But I'm not disappointed by this. Actually, this is...
The smell is stronger than the taste.
Yeah, if this was really ice cold, that would have been a lovely drink to enjoy today in the really hot weather.
Sorry, everyone. Hang on. My dentist is calling me. Hello? Yeah, I'll be right. I'll be there tomorrow. Yeah, I don't like this at all. I can feel it on my teeth. It's left a terrible taste in my mouth.
I see, it hasn't for me.
I don't like it at all. I will finish it because I will not waste.
Of course.
But I also have... This is thanks to Cheap Show, by the way, where they tried, the Fanta taking over Lilt.
Yes.
it was quite a few episodes ago now. That's how far behind I am on my podcast. And I was like, I need to find one. They're really hard to find.
Yeah, not many people stocking them at the
The one
moment.
stopped by me is the only place that I can find it. Now they've got bottles and cans, and I prefer cans than bottles. This is a bottle of it, and it's much nicer. Have you had it yet?
I've not had the Fanta variety. I used to like a
It's
lilt.
exactly the same.
Oh, fine. Because what I found as well, the Audi version was quite nice.
Oh, really?
But my issue again with that is it's cut down sugar and replaced with aspartame.
Yeah, this probably is.
Basically, anything that used to be a full sugar drink, the easy way to tell it, Rob, go in and have a look at that little magical chart they put on the side. If the sugar is still red, they've not touched it. But basically, the whole of Fanta, Dr. Pepper, Pepsi now, they are all now in the yellow,
Well, this
which
is
means
orange.
they've cut the sugar and they've also filled it full of aspartame.
13% sugar. So this one might not have all of the sugar taken out.
Yeah, well, no, but that's my point. If it's the original recipe like we used to like, it'll be red. If it's reduced sugar, it's now yellow.
I used to,
Or if it's marked as sugar-free, it should be green.
when I used to play a lot of Guild Wars 2 with my friend Matt, rest his soul, he used to laugh at me because I'd buy the lemonade. What is it? It's from Waitrose. Like I'm posh. The posh lemonade.
Oh, old-fashioned lemonade.
Yeah, and that was just sugar. And I used to get so hyper on it. And he'd just be always like, "You've had that stuff again, haven't you?" Cloudy lemonade.
Cloudy lemonade. Do you know how that's made?
I don't know if I want to know because my nan used to buy it for me, and I don't want to spoil a nice memory here.
Well, I made some with my aunt once, and basically the recipe was we filled up a pitcher almost like 2/3 with granulated sugar. We squeezed something like 12 lemons into it,
Yeah.
and then added water till the sugar was dissolved.
Yeah, I
And
can
that was
believe
it.
it. That's probably why it's so cloudy. But it tastes amazing.
Yeah, no, the Marks and Spencer's one used to be really nice, and back when this hot weather came around, we were walking through Marks and Spencer's and we spotted it. It's like, oh, it's hot weather. That'd be really nice. And I made the mistake. I picked up the one with the bits in it.
Oh yeah, you don't want the bits.
I don't like bits.
You don't want the bits. Anyway,
It tasted delicious, but the bits really ruined it for me.
You don't like bits in yogurts either.
Nope.
I've not liked that till I was an adult.
Or orange juice. Pulp, basically.
Oh,
I
I
do not
really
like.
I buy extra juicy bits. If I buy the Tropicana, if I feel really flush, if I haven't spent all my money on Lurpak,
Tropicana.
I'll buy the Lurpak. But the best stuff is the Sainsbury's own fruit drinks. They do a really nice mango and apple one.
Oh,
Yeah, you got to take the Johnny off, remember?
I've never had one.
Oh, you've never had a pepperoni?
I have never eaten a pepperoni.
Sorry, I would have loved it if you'd been into that.
I'm currently playing around like it's a foreskin.
So, people who don't know, it's a terrible reconstituted meat, but in a wrapper. But in between the wrapper and the meat is
It's so
basically
greasy.
a condom. It's the only way I can explain it.
Oh no!
And obviously, didn't think about you never having it before, and maybe you bite into that Johnny.
No. I'm not thick.
You
But
just got to go for it, mate.
it's like you are basically pulling back
I've gone into it.
a foreskin.
I've gone into it.
It's going to be reconstituted meat. What can be wrong about that?
Think about pepperonis. They get nicer the more the saliva comes out.
Oh, okay.
You get more taste. I like these. And they are actually spicy. Don't mind them.
Yeah,
Bad breath. though.
I'm getting the spiciness. It's I'm trying to explain what the spiciness is like. It's got a nice warmth to the back of the throat. It's not overpowering. It's probably similar to a Nando's medium, maybe just under that sort of spiciness.
I had a Nando's medium the other day that was very spicy. I would say it's under that. Thing about Nando's, I won't go higher than a medium. Not because I don't like spicy food, but Nando's is hot for hot's sake. It's not flavoursome hot.
That's why I've never got this whole... My brother is terrible for it. He loves the hottest things you can get, he'll try. I want flavour. I don't care about the heat. If it's got a slight spice to it, brilliant. And there's heat to it, brilliant. My care is about the taste.
Yeah.
Same with curries. A lamb Rogan Josh, for me, is like the most perfect mixture of flavour and heat. I'd never go for something like one of these stupidly hot vindaloos or whatever
Farl.
they call them now. Farn, yeah.
So
Farl even.
So Mark's brother, Chris, a guy we know, he on my stag do, we went for and he got a file because he always likes to get these spicy things. And it's like, why? How are you enjoying that?
Well, I don't see people enjoying it. I see them sweating, and because of the heat, there is no way flavour can come through because your mouth is basically being destroyed. Oh, it's okay. We know it's not actually a physical heat. I mean, the whole science of it is it's attacking your nerve endings, making them more prone to the heat in your mouth. So although the temperature in your mouth hasn't changed, the temperature feels like it's a lot hotter because of the chemical over the top of the nerve endings. And it's the same with things like mint, and I can't remember the other stuff for cooling, but
Peppermint kind of.
Yeah, peppermint, that sort of thing, does the opposite. So it makes your mouth feel cold because it basically tricks the nerve endings into thinking everything is colder than it is. It makes them more receptive to that level of heat rather than, it's, I don't get it.
So
that's a nice level of spicy.
We haven't scored the drink yet.
Oh God, we haven't, have we? Crap. Okay, the drink was a 3-point aspartame for me.
2-point screwball for me. I didn't like the drink.
Fair enough, and I think I'm going to go with the pepperami. I'm going to go for a 4.8. I can't think of a word, so I'm going to go with a 4.8. I like it.
It's a 4-point, a bit of an animal.
Boom.
That's what it is.
I know. I see what you did there.
Yeah. So it's right. It's top range middle. It's a nice snack. Problem with it, it's not a snack you want to have when your friends are around. It will give you bad breath.
And also, it's not...
And it smells.
It's not the greatest meat either. It's not soft. It's quite a chewy meat that breaks. I think that's the weirdest part of it for me. I like the flavour, and once you've munched it up a bit, it's fine. But the fact that it feels like it's cracking and breaking when you bite it is a bit of a concern when it's meant to be meat.
Yeah, I wish we could have recorded your face when you saw the Johnny inside, and you were like, "What? What is this?" Nice.
Okie dokie. Well, there goes another taste test. So enjoy this fantastic Jaffa Cake advert, and we'll be back in a moment. I've got to sort out my teeth. I really do.
Good morning, children.
Good morning, miss.
Full moon.
Full moon.
Half moon.
Half moon.
Total eclipse.
Total eclipse.
Good. Now, let's do it one more time. Full moon.
Full moon.
McVitie's Jaffa Cakes, deliciously self-centered.
And now, on the Channel 84 variety show, for our older viewers, join us as we go into another episode of the Channel 84 Nostalgic Kids Show Knockout.
It's time for the Channel 84 Variety Nostalgic Kids Show Knockout! Woo! Okay, last week we had Group E, where Doug lost to Albert, the Fifth Musketeer, and we'll make a correction. Doug was not Nickelodeon, it was Disney. So I'm still not sure how Channel 4 ended up with it, but I did do some research and it was a Channel 4 show. So we weren't wrong about that. Doug was Channel 4, which meant it was either shown on a Saturday or more likely the Sunday. Children's hours.
Does the Disney logo appear in the intro then?
It appears above the name. It's Disney's Doug.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's completely been lost on me.
And then we had Rosie and Jim lost to Sooty, which was an easy loss, really. Sooty was always going to beat the fuck out of those two.
I have a correction, because I sung the Tots TV song, and I sung it wrong.
Did you?
Because she sings in French.
Yes, she does, because I watched it. It came up on, on good old TikTok.
So, it was I'm a tot. Je suis un tot.
Je suis a tot.
And I said, I'm a tot, and she's a tot, is what I said. But she says, je suis un tot.
And then she goes, deux, toi.
Yeah. And then we say, shut up.
Yes.
Change the channel.
So full on, we're not even talking about Tots TV. I don't even know if it turns up later. You can actually see what's coming up later on the webpage. Go over to channel84.co.uk, onto podcast bits, and you'll get a link to where I've listed all of these, and you can see the results as we go. But this week, we have some interesting ones here. And I fell down a rabbit hole with the first one we're going to talk about. So Record Breakers versus Chip and Dale. So this was a difficult one for me. In my head, I'm still not quite decided who should win.
I decided pretty easily who should win.
Really?
Because I didn't actually watch one of them, even though I know what it is.
You didn't watch Record Breakers?
Nope, I didn't watch Chip and Dale.
You didn't watch Chip and Dale?
No, I watched Record Breakers and I really enjoyed it, and I would watch it now. Chip and Dale, it didn't click with me, and I never would watch it.
That's really, really interesting, because I always just assumed everyone had watched Chip and Dale. Again,
really
mainly
watched
for
it.
me, it was shown on a Sunday. I think it was occasionally on a Saturday, but it was mainly on the Disney mornings that CITV used to have. They used to run 2 or 3 Disney shows back to back. It would be Gummy Bears, Winnie the Pooh, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, Chip and Dale, something along those lines. It would be one of those, and they'd do 3 of them in effect.
Yeah.
You'd get an hour's worth of shows. And Chip and Dale seemed to always be one of the ones they chose. And I loved it. I really loved it.
I remember it being on, but it was never one that I'd be like, yes, it's Chip and Dale. But I would watch Record Breakers.
Well, and this is where I come to. Chip and Dale's got a brilliant theme tune. Pardon me, I'm getting bubblegum. Oh, no, that's disgusting.
Bubblegum burp.
Bubblegum pepperami spicy burp. Oh, that's nasty. Sorry, right. It had a great theme tune. It had good stories. I liked the animation. I wouldn't go and watch it now, and I probably wouldn't pick out to watch it as a kid.
Yeah.
Whereas Record Breakers, it just had something to it that I really enjoyed.
Record Breakers.
Right, so this is where I fell down a hole. YouTube has very little about Record Breakers. And I put Record Breakers theme into there so I could get the music for the start of the episode, for the start of this particular episode, part of the show even. And it's the 70s version, which is a bit crap.
Right.
So I thought, okay, I'll put 90s in. Still nothing comes up, except for a 90s copy of the show. So I watch it, and it's not the intro I remember.
I'm doing the one you remember, right?
Well, I'll come to it. Then the exit song of both of these was a song called Dedication, which is basically them singing Dedication is what you need if you want to be a and I remember the song, but it does not match the music in my head. But the intro I remember was, if you want to be a record breaker, and then Dedication is what you need, and it was a real, it was quite a pumped up song.
Yeah.
I cannot find that anywhere. And I went down this route, and I could not find it on YouTube.
We need the BBC archives.
Well, I need to do some digging to find it, because all I could find were versions that I don't remember. And it's like, am I misremembering this? Because I'm sure it used to, if you want to be a record breaker, Dedication is what you need. And that is part of the song. That is part of the, but the songs that I've heard as the exit were sung, I think it was sung by Roy Castle, who was the main presenter of it until he died of cancer. But it's not the version I remember. So, yeah, I was getting really frustrated with that. Well, that obviously that makes your vote quite easy on this then, because you wouldn't have chosen to watch Rescue Rangers, so you would have watched Record Breakers, and that's the one you said you've already watched. For me, it's a bit harder. I liked Rescue Rangers, but I did enjoy watching Record Breakers. And for those of you that don't know what Record Breakers was, because actually we probably should cover that at the moment. Rescue Rangers was a Disney show about 2 chipmunks, Chip and Dale. They were the early chipmunks you used to get in the very early Disney stuff. They then got their own show where they kind of took on crime fighting. Think not quite Columbo or Murder She Interfered With, but a bit more action, a bit more diagnosis murder sort of stuff. Record Breakers was a weird BBC show that basically they showed 3 or 4 record breaking attempts, children, adults. It was like the Guinness Book of Records for TV.
Yeah.
And it was just interesting to watch. That was it. But it was at the, I would say, peak Blue Peter time as well, wasn't it? So when Blue Peter was still good.
Yeah.
So I would have chosen to watch Blue Peter as well if it was on over most other things, because it was something enjoyable. It was like a magazine show. You never knew what you were going to get in an episode. It could be 4 topics that you've got no idea about, or 4 that you really love. But either way,
Tomorrow's World.
I've wanted to do a whole episode on Tomorrow's World. But all right, so Record Break, that was what Record Breakers was. It had a great intro for the 90s that I can't find. I'm going to vote Record Breakers.
Record Breakers.
Public, 18 votes, 78%. Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Oh my god, we're so out of touch with our audience, TJ. How many people?
18 people voted
18
for It's my
people.
fault because I literally only posted up these polls yesterday because I completely forgot to put them up after the last editing session.
How are we so... I'm different from them almost in every time.
This
Why
is
do they
it.
like listening to me? Maybe they don't. They like listening to you, and I just happen to be it.
Oh, you see, I'm of the other camp. I think they're here for you, not for me. So
I don't think so. We disagree on every single level.
Okay, look, let's come to Group F then. Second match, Wizardora versus Super Ted.
This was easy for me. No, I watched them both.
Good,
But
as you should have.
One of them I found a bit creepy. Can you guess which one I found creepy?
That's a really hard question because one of them's got what is, I presume, an onion with a hook for a head bit.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one involves a weird spotty man looking through a window and stealing a toy that's brought to life by Mother Nature.
I always used to think he was a banana for some reason.
Interesting. No, he was just Spotty, a weird alien
He's
who
an
stole
old
a
banana.
toy bear.
I bet he tastes like an old banana.
I am not putting Spotty in my mouth. I think you found Super Ted creepy.
No, Wizardora I found creepy. I don't like puppets.
Ah, well that's fine because I was, being that 2 years older than you, I think I was too old for Wizardora.
It's one of those things I've always struggled. I watch and enjoy Labyrinth to a level, but it creeps me out in the same way that Dark Crystal I struggle with because they creep me out.
Fair enough.
The Muppets I can just about handle.
Good.
It's not.
We would have had a falling out if you
it's
couldn't
not
have
a
the
fear
Muppets.
thing. I just think it's weird.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
where
no, no.
Muppets are much more family friendly. Dark Crystal messes with me because it's dark. Well, it's in the name, but you know, and Labyrinth, the same. There's a level to it. That I'm like, oh, these puppets are, you know, these Mick, what's his name? Hansen. What's his first
Jim
name?
Henson.
Jim Henson. It's like these puppets are like you were on a trip.
Yeah, I get what you're saying about
And that's
that.
what Wizardora is.
Just for me, I thought Wizardora was pure old shite, to be honest. I didn't like the character design. I didn't like Wizardora herself. I thought the stories were crap.
Annoying. Yeah.
Theme tune was slightly catchy, but again, it's aimed at preschoolers. I'm guessing it was outside of my kind of aim anyway, but so was Super Ted. But Super Ted was when I was small.
Super Ted I is what I pick.
Yeah, I watched it as a child, and Super Ted was... And then there's the added thing of almost every dentist through the 80s and 90s, you got a Super Dead, Jesus.
Super Dead. You got Super
He's
Dead. If you
super
went to the
dead.
dentist, you got Super Dead.
Super Ted sticker.
Yeah.
And
How funny you remembered that.
yeah, there's a brilliant... I tell you what, I found an image of it once, and again, it's like that whole thing with record breakers. I've never found that image again. There was a dentist sticker where Spotty is outside the bathroom window looking in at Super Ted brushing his teeth, and around the outside was, remember to brush your teeth, blah, blah, blah. Why is Spotty looking through the bathroom window?
I can see that in my head. Maybe it's just because I know the characters with the look. I can see it in my head, but I almost kind of feel like I've seen.
But yeah,
it.
he was there in his red jumpsuit. And Super Ted, it had some fun stories. But again, I tell you what, I bet you it's one of those shows like Postman Pat that probably only ever had 13 or, like Poddington Peas, the best show in the world, that only ever had 13 or 14 episode run.
Yeah.
And that's all anyone ever knew of. So yeah, Super Ted for us, both of us then. Is that the vote?
Yeah, Super Ted.
Okay, public like us then. 16 votes, 81% with Super
okay.
Ted. Mr. Court, Karen's husband, got to vote for my home team. Super Ted is possibly the only Welsh superhero after... Also, because I don't really remember Wizardora, I went on to him and said, oh, come on, you had Ivor the Engine too?
Yeah, I saw those. Little...
I'm not sure a purpose-built machine counts as a superhero. Damn right he does.
Of course he does.
But my confusing one is Paul Rowe. Paul Rowe, at Paul Rowe 6969. Wizardora is a sex kitten.
Sex kitten. So he's got some...
Followed up by maybe I'm the only one who fancied her. We'll leave it at that, I think. That's disturbed me. All right. Interval.
Tired of choosing a deity to support?
Yes.
Unsure of which way to turn?
Yes.
Do you just want to wear short shorts?
No!
Then why not support football?
Goal!
We've got dozens of great deities on offer right now. You could have Gaza, Klinsmann,
Yeah.
or that player who only some people like but others love.
Oh my God!
Start collecting our life-size statues now and reach enlightenment today.
What was that really weird video you sent me last night? And no, people, get your mind out of the gutters. It wasn't anything like that. He saves that for the morning when he has morning wood. Yeah, you sent me a really weird video of an alien game which I hadn't heard of. What's it called?
Xenomorph.
Oh, Xenomorph.
No, sorry, it's called Aliens Dark Descent.
Aliens Dark Descent. And
I don't know if it's out yet or if it's coming out. I have no idea what console it is. It's because I watched that new Zack Snyder trailer on Netflix.
Yeah.
For those Netflix films he's got coming out, which looked quite good, by the way.
It did look
Rebel
good.
Moon or whatever it's called. But then one of then it gives you the, why don't you watch this? So then it was like Xenomorph speaks for the first time. I was like, ooh, that sounds cool. And it had a really cool picture on it of this weird kind of person. I clicked it, and then it's like a 3-minute long video or a 2-minute long video.
Yeah.
And the first section of it is really, really good CGI.
Yeah. So
And he's like kind of stood there, this creature. And
it's got the uncanny valley about it. So if you weren't
really
paying
well.
attention, you could think, am I watching a film trailer?
Yeah, it's lit really dark and really well, and he's kind of like slowly turning to camera. As he does, a xenomorph jumps down and kind of bumps into him and walks past and ignores him. And as it turns around, it then shows like he's got this glass bubble in his chest, and it's got a baby xenomorph inside.
Yeah.
And then it kind of fades to black, and he doesn't speak, and it cuts into the game footage. And from that moment, it's like, like every moment of it, I'm just like, what is this trash? Like, really bad animation, really kind of rigid. Lighting suddenly goes from being top tier to awful, and then he speaks,
The
and I'm
voice
like,
acting.
that is not how I was expecting that creature to speak. And
You're expecting it to be more like this.
yeah, like really deep and snake-like and like
Yeah, exactly. You think, right, we've got a xenomorph. Ignoring the fact that it would absolutely break whatever alien has set
It wouldn't
out
be speaking
previously.
English.
It would be a terrible, terrible thing for them to do if they actually made it speak, which they have done in this game. You would expect it to be like,
Humanity, you are ruined.
yeah.
something dark and deep. Instead, you get, all right, yeah, hello, right,
It's
yeah,
a
I can
bit
talk.
like that,
hello,
it's a
yeah,
bit
I'm
like
gonna
that.
talk. So
That's
I'm gonna do. We found her. We're gonna do things to you, but we found her.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like in my head. The thing, right? So I said to you, I sent you a voice message. I don't know if we can ever take any of my voice messages out of your WhatsApp to put somewhere. I was still listening to the podcast, and you just got your comment of saying that, you don't think aliens exist. I could really believe aliens exist, but not aliens like us. Aliens like the aliens. Some kind of creature that has its own kind of intelligence and isn't, like a bug with a queen, like giant alien ants is kind of essentially what the alien is, isn't it? Got a queen, all the rest of them just do what they're told, injecting their baby eggs inside you. I find that way, way more believable than another race of creatures flying around through space. I was saying about aliens in general in real life, is I can completely believe aliens exist.
Yes.
But I do not believe they're like us and sentient. I believe they are like xenomorphs, creatures that have just evolved and taken over their planet and want to lay eggs inside you. I
can believe
that's
that.
so much more believable to me than, Zog driving around in some spaceship and visiting Earth.
But that's my point about a lot of things when we talk about sci-fi. We're not gonna jump into this too much, but that's not scary, because in my mind, if there were aliens that were bipedal or very human-like, why on earth would they always turn up to Earth just to cause trouble? that's what
Yeah.
makes them inherently to me just not scary, because common sense would say anything that is evolved to the point that they can then do star travel is unlikely to come and just say, yeah, we found your planet, we're going to kill you all now. But the idea of killing machine aliens who have no language that we understand, that are bug or creature-like, now that is scary shit.
And
there's no reasoning.
I Love, Death and Robots. Have you seen that?
No, but I really want to.
See the first season. There's one in there called, I think it's called The Hive. Watch that.
Right, okay.
Whichever season's in, 1 or 2, watch The Hive, because this is what I think aliens are.
Right, okay.
Now, what I want to say about this one is that xenomorphs, I see them in my brain. They're like bees or ants or wasps. They have a queen, and they're drones to feeding the queen and doing eggs and all this stuff. So the way they would talk would be very submissive to their queen. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
They wouldn't be using words like I, me. It would all be we or she. You know what I mean? It would
There's
all
no
be
individualism.
it would be a collective, like Borg. It'd be like Borg. It'd
Correct.
be a collective thing. They wouldn't understand the individuality of a human. They wouldn't.
No.
That would be why we would be clashing with them so much, because they wouldn't understand the individuality, and they wouldn't be able to. You would never be able to communicate them in the way that this game is saying. I don't think it's.
Well,
I know it's a game.
Why would it? I mean, that's my point.
Why would it talk anyway?
Well, I mean, we don't know what the story is, so who actually create? I mean, if they really jumped the shark by saying that the xenomorphs have built that human monster thing.
Did you watch it all the way through the video?
I got up to the point where it goes, "Oh, is it time now? Oh, it's home!
Yeah, that's
How
the end of it.
exciting!"
It kind of implies, I think, that it's created, because it's talking about a woman, which sounds like the other humans knew who this woman was. I wonder if.
Yeah, it's suggestive of a faction, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the big company in it? I can't remember the company.
Oh my gosh, I can't
begins
remember.
with Yaka.
Wayland Yutani.
Where? There you go. Wayland Yutani. Are they a part of them again?
Of course
And
they
they're
will be,
experimenting, and this is one of the experiments. It didn't sit well with me as soon as it started speaking. The idea of it was quite cool. I like the idea that maybe they'd kind of integrated it into this kind of cyborg to see what the alien would do. That would be cool.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what they've done, but it didn't work for me. I've just looked it up. It's due out this year. It's going to be a tactics game. So it's going to be one of those ones that's going to be isometric, top down, move your players around.
Yeah, okay. I might watch some videos of people just showing the story.
Yeah,
I'll never play it.
Probably, but I'm not impressed so far.
That accounts then for the jankiness in the animations and stuff, because when it's far out, it probably looks fine. But when you zoom all the way in and do cinematics, if it's in
in-game graphics,
then it's probably that'll explain that.
Fair enough. Well, that's all I wanted to bring up for the sci-fi chat, to be honest, because I thought the idea of it looked quite cool, but again, like I've said before, Terminator 3 is actually a good film.
Yeah.
It's just not a good Terminator film.
Yeah.
This could have been a cool idea for a different franchise, but for the Alien franchise, I'm struggling with it, because they've already done a lot of damage in my mind with Alien Covenant and Prometheus, and Aliens versus Predator. It's hard for me to kind of trust anything that comes out, especially on one of these franchises that really deserves more love than they get from the directors and producers.
The last Aliens game, though, like anyone who knows me at all, I one of my favourite games of all time is the World War Z game.
Yeah.
The Aliens version of that is cool.
So my favourite Alien game was, really brief story because I want to keep this short, was Aliens vs Predator, the first PC game for that.
Yeah.
I had the big box version. It was a brown box. It was kind of looked like the alien bone structures, but then you had the Predator writing on it, and it was a super solid game. You could play as all three races, and all of the races felt like you were playing as that race. The Marine, you felt fragile, but not fragile enough to be a problem. The Predator was cool. You had all the visions. You could be invisible, but you had the limits that you see in the first two films. Oh, he's got wet, he's short-circuited, boom, there he is. And the Alien, the fact that you had this whole 360 mechanic, so you could run up a wall and on the roof and suddenly everything's upside down, was absolutely brilliant.
I always preferred playing the Marine.
Do you know how I got that game? It came from PC Gamer, and PC Gamer every month used to do a competition, send in your top 5 games, and we'll pick out from the hat, and then you can win one of the games we've reviewed in that issue. I was bored. I filled out a self-addressed postcard. I put their address on it. Couldn't afford a stamp. Mum didn't have any stamps, so I just wrote free post on the top of it. I wrote my top 5 games, which was ZX Spectrum games.
Yeah.
Sent it. 2 weeks later, letter back. Dear Mr. James, congratulations. You've been chosen to win with your top 5 selection. Your choices: FIFA 2000 or Aliens vs Predator.
And here's an invoice for the postage.
But no, it got there. They weren't a free post address.
Oh, that's wicked.
Anyway, right. Let's get onto our main chat. So we'll kill off the sci-fi chat now.
Only an hour and a half in.
It's time for the main event. Rob and Tom discuss topics of interest and more. Ask yourself, what would you do if you could time travel? Sit back, pick up your tea, and enjoy.
Make notes. What I tend to do is throughout the week, if I haven't left you a voice note in the morning on my drive in, I make notes of just stuff that happens that I think might be fairly interesting. Normally, if I've watched a film or if I have an idea about something, so these films I watched ages ago now. So I watched Avatar, the second one.
Oh, okay. I've not got round to watching
Way
it
of
yet.
the Water. Yeah, Way of the Water it's called.
See, I didn't like the first. I thought it was boring, long-winded, unoriginal, if I'm honest. It was a beautiful environment. Yeah. It looked stunning. I loved some of the mechs they built in that. I just didn't like the film.
The second one's better. But the thing about the first one, it did so well because of the novelty, I think, of how it looked and how it was made. It. The story's basic, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's
as people you say, it was Dances with Wolves, basically, wasn't it?
I never hated it. I've watched it so many times. Miranda loves it. Watched it all the time. And then we watched Way of the Water, and then immediately watched it again. Second time, because Miranda wanted to watch it straight away again because she really, really liked it.
Oh, okay.
It was actually what was the note I wrote? I got invested is what I've written as my note. But there's some moments in it I actually wanted to cry. There was genuine emotion, and it wasn't even a human or like a purple creature character. It was a fish. A mammal. There's some beautiful stuff. They've got these whales in it because it's mostly water. This film, we can tell you by the name, and they've just made them. Maybe just because I love animals in general, but there's something about these whales that you just really connect with.
Right.
And they're beautifully animated, beautifully created in 3D. And the things that happen to them are so dreadful. You just really feel for them. Really, genuinely do. And because they must have filmed loads of blue whales because that's how they move and how they act like blue whales and killer whales and stuff. Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Imagine. So, what's our task today, James Cameron? I'd like you to go and stick all of these motion capture balls on that whale.
Yeah, I need 16. 16 on just that right fin, please. Yeah, I think there had some other things happen with characters which are all very sad. I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it. But in particular for me, the whales were just beautiful.
Okay.
It really was.
I will watch it. It's on Disney Plus.
It's on Disney Plus, yeah.
Is it Disney Plus or is it?
It's Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's Disney Plus, isn't it? It was a different name previously, and I still get muddled between what the previous name was and so on. But yeah, it's on Disney Plus at the moment. I will give it a chance. Obviously, as I said, I didn't particularly like the first one, but I'm not going to let that tarnish the second one because it does seem, and from what I've read and from what other people have said, it is a completely different film. It does follow on from the first one.
Yeah, it does.
But the film itself is a different story, and it's a different idea.
I reckon you could watch the second one without the first. I reckon you actually could.
Okay.
It's only really Sully, the main bloke, who, knowing his backstory, is what you really would need.
Yeah.
And the rest is really well explained. Like,
Is it
really
as long as the first film?
It's longer, I think.
Oh, Christ. Okay, fine. So it's always one of my problems. I find it hard, if I'm not invested in a film, I find it hard to then sit through a long film.
It took us 4 nights to watch it.
Oh, right. Okay. Crikey. I'll stick it on in the office tomorrow and have it in the background to start with. Because what I've found there is if I do that and I start getting captivated by it, I'll typically turn it off and then I'll restart it and I'll watch it properly, not just as background noise. So I'll do that and see what happens.
I want you to really watch the whales, though, because I was into the whales, definitely.
Do you like fish sticks?
Moving on.
I take it you know that joke.
I think I know the joke. I think you're just being rude.
Oh, look, if we're talking about films, I went and saw the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle film.
Oh, yeah, they're called Ninja Turtles, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not Hero Turtles. To disappoint you, they are.
What do you think?
Well, they added 3 new turtles. There wasn't just one. There's 4 turtles in it now. Did you know that?
No, it's not ringing a bell.
Yeah, no. Right, let's get past that joke. Right, it was okay. The animation style, it was good. It wasn't as good as Spider-Verse stuff.
I was going to say, to me, just from trailers, it's like they're doing Spider-Verse to
Spider-Verse did it better. It's still very cool. It's very clever. I didn't like the story.
No.
It started off quite strongly. I liked the idea they went with. And then it started to peter out a little bit, and it just felt a bit weird, and they chose some very strange routes to take. And again, without spoiling it, if you're going to introduce the turtles, and then you introduce some of their main opponents, bad guys, don't then have some of those opponent bad guys living with them towards the end of the film being good guys.
Well, did Bebop and Rocksteady become goodies?
And a few others.
Krang?
No, so Krang and Shredder aren't in it. So
Who are the baddies then?
You'll need to. I'm not going to go into that because it is ruining the story too much. Okay. It's Superfly is what you need to know, and it's a Superfly is the bad guy.
Okay.
But ultimately they kind of leave it on a very odd way of how can you move this forward now the bad guys are good guys without basically saying in the next film that they will inevitably release being, oh, we're sick of being good guys, we're going to be bad guys now. Because there is definitely a sequel coming with how they ended it. The end of credit scene sets it up as you'd expect it to.
Yeah.
You know exactly who's going to be coming for it because you couldn't not. And I just wasn't blown away. I was disappointed. I was hoping for so much more from it. It was enjoyable, but something about it just it wasn't quite right.
I'll watch it when it's free on the telly.
Yeah, definitely. That's the best way I would say.
Do you watch any anime ever? Ever watch anime?
No, I never really got into it.
We're not really. There's some things that we enjoy. That we were really into Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. We watched all of those. I own all of them on DVD, and we were really into those. What really good one we're watching now is Kimetsu no Yaiba, which in English is Demon Slayer. They call it Demon Slayer in the UK,
right?
In America, and it's about this kid who his family gets butchered by this demon, and
happy stuff. Then
this is not a happy program. Very gory, like real. You wouldn't let your kids watch this. This is like 18 rated,
right? Okay,
anime. And he goes to become a demon slayer, part of this demon slayer corp who hunt demons. Basically.
Right, okay.
And demons have like different levels, and there's a top demon who's created all the other demons. Kind of almost like Dracula level kind of things. Anyway, I think they're way ahead in Japan in the actual writing of the manga and stuff. But there's been like 2 series and a film called Munjin Train. I'll butcher the name. Yeah, all absolutely fantastic. If you want to get into anime and you want to see some adult anime, that isn't full of sexy time, big titted schoolgirls.
Okay.
I fucking hate all that stuff. I'm swearing, no, I actually hate all that
Well,
stuff.
no, it's paedophilic.
Yeah, this is brilliant, and it's on Netflix. All on
Okay.
Netflix, and I'd suggest you.
Netflix used to have quite a good
They got
good
loads,
collection. I think the
yeah.
only one I've ever really watched, I watched the Dead Space collection because I played the games and loved the games so much.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it, and they were brutal.
Yeah, kind of that level, I'd say.
So, sorry, carry on. I'll come
But
to
they're on
mine.
Netflix, and I'd say watch them in subtitled, not dubbed.
Yes.
Because we watched all of Naruto in dubbed, which then meant we had to wait a lot longer for them to get dubbed. And actually, the voices are much better in the subtitled version.
I don't know if it's the same with this, but I know with. Did you watch Squid Game?
Yeah.
The American dubbed version.
Oh, they've dubbed that?
The story, yeah. Netflix had it from day one. You could have the American dubbed
I
version.
never watched the dubbed
or you could
version.
have the Korean subtitled version.
I watched that one.
And the American version, the story is changed because of the language differences and the different words. They have them saying things that they just don't say. And yeah, okay, the subtitles aren't exactly accurate, but it's quite, if you dial it up on good old Google, you'll see there's a lot of outroar that the American dubbed version is atrocious in keeping with the story.
I didn't even realise you could watch a dubbed version.
But
of it.
that's what I've heard about a lot of these things. Anything that's come from the Orient, I guess, so kind of anime, that side of things. A lot of it, American dub, is kind of either softened up or because of the language differences and the choice of using different words like dude and stuff like that means that they change it and take creative liberties with it. So I always go for subtitled because it's as close, I guess, as you can do based on the rough translations they must do.
And as well, with the Japanese, the way they speak in anime and stuff, they do a lot of screaming and things.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds way better in their voices than hearing an English or American, Persian person trying to copy it. You're just like, oh, it just doesn't sound right.
So the first kind of anime or manga or that style thing I ever saw, it wasn't a cartoon. I saw randomly one evening, I came back from the pub and it was on at something like 1 a.m. It was on E4 or Film 4 as it were.
Yeah.
Death Note.
Brilliant. Wow.
And it was the live action one, and you've got the CGI Death Note following him around the supermarket. And I was like, what the hell is this?
Oh, God. I'm going to butcher it now. What's the Death Note god's name?
Oh, I haven't got a clue. But
I've got a figure of him in my.
I sat down and started watching it, and then it got something like 3 a.m. at the end. It's like, oh crap. Okay, I better go to sleep.
Yeah.
I got properly hooked into that. I must rewatch it as well because it genuinely, it captivated me. I loved it.
Your Death Note is brilliant. Wow. Yeah, what's his name?
There's several, isn't there? Or there's several.
They're called the Shingami, or the gods. I'm just trying to remember. Ryuk, I think, is his name.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's Ryuk.
Okay.
Yeah, I love him. Love him. It's Willem Dafoe does his voice in the Netflix version.
Oh, interesting. One more film for you from my side. I don't know how many you've got, but one more that I literally stumbled across because of TikTok and poo scrolling. The Founder.
No, I don't know that.
It is the story of McDonald's.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I started watching it.
Is it a comedy?
I presume they'll do comedic. It's based on a real story.
Who's the actor?
Batman, Keaton.
That's it, yeah.
And I started watching it. I couldn't stop watching it. It's so good. I know it's a biopic film of the story of McDonald's, and it has no right to be as good as it is.
Yeah.
And it is. It's just really, I was really taken by it, and it's just come out on Netflix.
Oh, it's on Netflix.
It's
okay.
on Netflix now. Big banner of it appeared this week saying The Founder now here. And it's basically how Keaton's character steals McDonald's from the McDonald brothers, leaving them with nothing in the end.
Yeah.
And it really, which is really good. I absolutely recommend it. If you don't mind sitting down and watching a biopic, watch it because it is worth it.
Yeah, it reminds me. I was just looking at quickly. Blackberry. I want to watch. It's because it's got Glenn Howerton in it from Always Sunny, and I wanted to watch that. And that's about the Blackberry company.
Oh,
I wanted to watch that.
cool.
So the other couple of quick things I've been wanting to talk to you about for ages. I found 2 Bluey episodes I'd never seen.
Oh. I know they added some more to Disney Plus about a month ago. They added another 10 episodes.
I might have only just seen those.
Including the one where...
Season 3.
Yeah, so season 3, by any chance, is it Chili Sister?
Yes.
Heartbreaking episode.
That's not one that I brought up, but yeah, it is a rough one.
That makes you nearly cry. Whole infertility side of things, just holy shit.
Episode Puppies called 30 called Puppets.
Yes.
So Unicorse.
Unicorse is back.
Yeah.
Oh, what a character.
Lovely. And what got me was right at the end where it's like, how do you know you're not a puppet? And then she goes to sleep. And then the hand comes up and starts drawing it all. It's got such great touches, haven't they? What a great show Bluey is. Even if you haven't got kids, everyone out there, watch Bluey.
Oh, Bluey!
What a great show.
Bluey is designed for adults and children. I don't care what anyone says. An adult can take so much out of Bluey. In fact, in some ways, way more than a child can. I'd say if you're a new parent and you've just got a baby at home and they're not interested in the TV yet, but they're at that sleeping, pooing, milking, sleeping, pooing, milking phase, stick it on. It'll make you cry because obviously you're going to want to cry as a new parent. Yeah. We've all been there. We know it. But it will make you laugh. And I tell you what, it will help you in the future when your child comes up to you with questions that they will come to you with.
Yeah.
Bluey has been pretty solid on the advice, really. And I love it. I will die on this hill.
Speaking of kids coming up with questions, this happened today. I was in the park, Keensfield. You been to Keensfield Park?
Which one's that one?
The one just down from me.
Okay, yeah, I know which one you're in. Yep.
It's like a big hill, and right at the top there's loads of houses.
Have always, all my life, wanted it to snow and then take a sled down it.
Yeah, we go there. Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good. It's really steep over to the side.
Yeah,
Super
I know.
steep. So we were there today, and we're on the T's on the swing, and he's like, "Oh, I want to go higher." So he's going, "Woo." Anyway, there's some kids playing cricket up by the houses at the top because it's really the only flat bit. And I think they must live in one of them. And there's a massive argument. Well, the dad must be arguing with a neighbour. I think it was about whether the kids were allowed to play cricket there.
Oh right, okay.
And he was going, what was he shouting? "You shut up! You shut up! You shut up!" And he was going. He was so loud. And then Miranda said something, and he goes, "You shut up!"
Nice.
So Miranda, we were both like, "No, you did not say that." And he was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, Rob, you didn't even realise you did it, did you?
Did I just say his name?
You just said his name. No.
Oh, sorry.
You got so into it, bless you. So you listeners won't have noticed. I will have cut it out. But what we try and behave by not using our children's names because
they
we
can't
might talk about
to
where
it.
we live. It's not that they can't consent. It's just there's weird people out there. And I'd rather I don't get asked how my child is by name.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things, I guess. But I'll wipe it out, don't worry.
Sorry, thank you. And then back to Bluey, chess.
Yes.
It reminded me of Miranda and I playing chess because I didn't really know the rules very much, and she's really good at chess.
Just Bluey always, well, why can't I do this?
Yeah, I'm like that. I was like, who says I can't do that? I said, that's not how you play chess. I was like, yeah, but it's a horse.
And then making up the rules and adding, it's just wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was really good. And I have a complaint about a particular show on Disney Plus, The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse. You watched that?
I haven't watched anything Mickey Mouse for years.
Okay, imagine Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
But Mickey Mouse.
Really?
But without the close-ups. You know, they do the close-ups in Ren and Stimpy and you see the warts and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Weird, very weird show.
What, so Mickey Mouse is going around farting, puking?
Not so much the toilet humor bit, but the kind of weird... You've got to watch it to understand where I'm coming from when I have Ren and Stimpy comparisons.
Yeah,
just the kind of way it is. There's something about it, and they pull these like faces, like jaw coming out, and like really kind of squinching their faces.
But that seems to be an animation style that everyone seems to be going for at the moment. It's either a mixture of we're going to go for the animation style of something like Adventure Time, or we're going to go for this kind of weird, sharp kind of animation, which is what they did with the modern DuckTales
Yeah.
and all those actual shows. Yeah, they seem to have tried to. They've gone away from kind of what's the best. They've gone away from soft animation, haven't they? They've gone away from things like the Raccoons, Chip and Dale, like we were talking about earlier, any of the kids shows we talked about from the 80s and 90s. And everything now seems to be much squarer, much more focused on facial expressions and actions rather than actually the scenery and everything else.
There's a simplicity to the characters, but they get the emotion from the animation of those simple drawings.
Yes.
The thing is, what gets me with it is, obviously it's just blinking. I'm kind of losing my train of thought now, but yeah, the kind of Ren and Stimpy vibe of it. And what's really odd is that because it's Disney, when they bring in other characters, but they draw the other characters how they were drawn in their show. So there's one where it has all of the fairies and all the godmothers and all the other things, and they're drawn how they were in their shows. So there's a real jarring moment where the fairy godmother from Cinderella comes and she's talking to Mickey, and she's drawn like she is in her film, and Mickey's drawn in this weird style that he's drawn in.
So I kind of don't have as much of a problem with that, and we talked about this earlier, completely coincidentally, when I brought up the Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger movie.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do in that. Other than the fact they've gone live action with it, then they've got the 3D CGI in there, but then you've got all the other characters as well drawn in their style, which I really like the Chip and Dale film. I thought it was hysterically funny. It was perfectly aimed at adults and children alike. It had a good story, but the animation style for me was my big worry, and it worked, so I was happy.
But it's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit level, and that's really good.
Yeah, it's top tier, isn't it? And I guess it's because the money's been put into it, and it had to be. You couldn't go to it half cut.
I think that this it works in the show. I wasn't expecting it, and and the wizard from Sword and the Stone is there too. He looks like that. If you've seen the Sword and the Stone,
I've never seen it. That's one of the ones I've never seen growing up. We watched Black Cauldron the other day, which was another one we'd never seen, and we really enjoyed it. Kay really got into it, so it's not a bad one actually. It's one of Disney's better 80s or 70s. No, it was 80s, I think. Films. Straight away you could tell one of the characters was just a reanimated Peter Pan, for example. They did what Disney did best at that sort of period of reusing animation, but it was good. But it's interesting. No, you see, I've not watched any of those modern shows, to be honest, on Disney. Kay's never been that interested in them, so we never watched the Minnie Mouse show or the new Mickey Mouse Club stuff, so I wouldn't have any experience behind it.
Yeah, that's it. Other than stuff that happens, but they can wait for another time to do with my dogs. They can wait.
No, fair enough. Okay, well, a couple of things that I've wanted to bring up that are just kind of small things, I guess. Number one, Matey. Did you ever have Matey Bubble Bath growing up? He was the little sailor. He was the sailor.
Oh, yeah.
Close your eyes. Imagine on screen at the top. Can you smell what that used to smell like?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like that anymore. They've ruined it. It's got perfume in it now. It does not smell like...
I liked the smell of it.
I love the smell. That generic children's bubble bath smell is gone.
I had a Mr. Blobby one at one point.
Yeah, they all smelled the same, didn't they?
Yeah, they were the same. They just had different bottles.
I remember one Christmas, again, David Rolfe, who I brought up earlier, weird coincidence as it goes through. He bought me a bubble bath for Christmas, and it was blood bubble bath. And you just put this little tiny capful in the bath, and the bath went the perfect opaque blood colour.
Oh, gross.
It was brilliant until it realised that actually the bath was slightly pink afterwards. It's like, I'm going to get shouted at.
That's the kind of thing you do at Halloween parties. We had a Halloween party at mine a very long time ago, and it was just when I think Insidious came out, and there's a bit, I think it's Insidious, and it has that song goes tiptoe through the window.
Yeah.
So I went and brought a red light bulb and put that in one of the bedrooms and had a CD playing of that song on a loop the entire night. So I had things like around the house. So if anyone would go upstairs to the toilet, I think you came to this party, but you might not have gone up to the loo. Because when you work on the ambulance.
Oh, possibly.
You came in for a bit. anyone would go out to the toilet, they'd see at the end of the hallway a door cracked, red light, only a red light because I kept all the lights out off upstairs, and that music playing just loud enough that when you're in the toilet you'd hear it playing. Yeah.
Nice. That was one of the really quick subjects anyway. They've ruined Matey. It's not got that generic bubble bath smell anymore. They've added perfume to it. I mean, what the hell? Why would you do that? It was cheap, nasty stuff. That's what it was meant to be. It was never meant to be. So it's ruined for me. I can't ever buy Matey again. Which is a disappointment.
It must have been a chemical or something in it that's now not allowed.
Oh, more than likely. It's
lead.
Probably carcinogenic or lead or...
It's a really nice smell asbestos gets when you put it with hot water.
Nice. To be fair, though, it's antifreeze. That's why it was always that lovely colour. To be fair, I have not mushroom flavour. The flavour. No, it's not even flavour.
Mushroom flavoured bubble bath.
The marshmallow scented bath is. Oh, love it. Yeah. So nice. Anyway, right. That was one thing. Secondly, parenting hack for you. I cannot stand having the mirror on the headrest facing T, so when I'm driving I can see what he's up to in his chair, as he's rear facing. So if you're not a parent, you'll understand this pain at some point if you plan on being a parent, that you have to have your child rear facing for X number of years of their life or months of their life. You can turn them around eventually, but the longer they're facing backwards in the car, the better it is because of accident safety and so on. So what you then have is you have a mirror fixed to the rear headrest, so that when you look in your driver's mirror, you can then see that mirror and see what the kid's doing.
Yep. Yep.
Mine always gets knocked.
Yeah.
Someone goes in, oh, it's been knocked, so pull over, or Jem jumps out. Can you see it now? Yeah, fine, right, brilliant, let's get going. Take him out, put him back in. Oh, it's been knocked again. Whole shebang all over again. I bought a £20 reversing camera, stuck it to the ceiling of the car, ran the cable to the front. I've got the screen in the front. Boom, done. Even with night vision, can now watch him in the car, no matter what the light level is. I know what's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, just random parenting hack.
Yeah, T used to kick it all the time. Used to do my head in.
Yeah, exactly. But this one's slightly bigger. And this one's kind of been playing on my mind. In fact, I brought it up with Jem because it's a really awkward question if anyone ever asks you this. Where or what would you do if you could time travel? And the reason it's such a hard question is because if you think about it, the question most people ask isn't, what would you do if you could time travel? It would be, what would you change in your past if you could?
I don't think I'd be changing things in the past, because you change things in the...
I wouldn't have K or T if I changed something in the past.
I think, for my theory on time travel, is it's impossible to change the past. Because if you change the past, you wouldn't have got to the position you are in now for the things to be happening that you're in now. So you'd be creating alternate timelines, and you will never be able to get back to the timeline that you were on.
But also, that basically the question is always saying, what would you go back and change so you're not in the position right now? That's what people really want to know, aren't they? That's what it is.
Yeah, they're talking about, I think what people are just like, because they want to go back in time and change a bit of bad luck or something, or do something, or put a lottery number.
I wish I did more at school doing X, Y, Z revision and so on, so I could have got my job sooner. But then, would you have got that job sooner? Because it probably wouldn't have existed when you were able to then do it. So I don't like that question particularly. So the question I wanted to pose with you, if you could go back in time...
I can only go back in time.
You can only go back in time. You can't change anything, but you can take a camera with you if you want. Where would you go?
Dinosaurs.
You'd go back and do the dinosaurs?
Yep, absolutely.
So
I'd probably get eaten alive, or I'd end up being the thing that kills the dinosaurs because I'll sneeze and give everyone COVID.
I'm setting fixed rules, which will be like you're almost in a protective bubble. No one will see you. You won't be able to damage anything.
Absolutely dinosaurs.
You won't be able to damage anything. You will just be able to go back and enjoy yourself, but also take photos of whatever you want.
Dinosaurs.
See, that's a really quick answer, because I've sat there and I've thought about this.
I'm looking at a dinosaur above your head.
You see, true, you are. I love the idea of it. And what I would really want to do, and it just shows you how much of a geek or a loser or nostalgic I am, I would happily, just for an hour, go back to St Albans High Street, where I grew up, in the mid-90s, early 90s, and just get photos of places I used to go, shops that I used to enjoy, because there are just no photos out there of those things. And I would love to go back and look at some of them now. I'd love to go to Software Plus in the Maltings.
Oh, I'd love to go in there
and get
again.
a photo of the inside and see what there was in there. Go to the Maltings, go upstairs to the inn shops, and actually not just have to. This is something I do when I'm feeling low and I want to kind of feel happy. I think about the old nostalgic times. And the inn shops were one of those places I used to hang around all the time at weekends and play. And in my head, I've pretty much built them up. I can walk through it in my brain and picture it walking through where everything was. And I'd just love to go back and just get some photos of what that looked like and how it was now, or how it was then even.
You spent a lot of time there because of your parents' shop.
Well, exactly.
So
I was at the shop
centre
every Saturday at a certain age. So
Yeah.
me and a friend, Michael Gow, we used to run around town. We used to go for walks. But one of our favourite things to do was, again, people won't know this, but in St Albans, you've got what was the inn shops, which is now TK Maxx. Then you had, just to the right of it, you had all the levels where the lifts were. And there was a little kind of footway outside each of the lifts on each floor. And that would be up to level 3, I think was the top floor, and down to like level -4.
Libraries.
Yeah, you got the public library there.
Still there.
Yeah, the public library's still there. You'd got the theatre, then you'd got car park, then you'd got various other bits, then you got the car park. And what we used to do was we'd play Manhunt. One person would start at the bottom, one would start at the top, and then it would be who can catch each other, and then we'd change roles and do it again. And we could use the lift, use the stairs. A number of times security would come and tell us, I'd say, it's no playing here, fuck off. But yeah,
Get out of here, you little scamp.
I would use it for those. I'd use it to go back and things like Christmas, as you know, is one of my favourite times of year. Just to go back and take photos of how the town used to look before we got this horrible, dull blue illumination with no festive feel to it, no decorations really anymore, except for these stupid static things.
St Albans is not the place it was.
No,
and that's not being an old fogey.
No, it's rubbish. I mean, old Hemel Hempstead, when they do their decorations, it looks so Christmassy.
The old town, yeah.
And St Albans now it looks it barely looks like there's been anything done. So I'd go back and I'd get photos of that.
Can you see your old self? Would you go in like not being creepy, but just kind of sit on a little bench there and just watch you and your mate playing that game?
Oh, I don't know. That's a different level. I hadn't even thought about doing that. See, would I go back to my days at school and go and look at what I did at school and remember lessons and go and sit in on lessons and sit in on things that I used to do like computer club or chemistry club at secondary school.
I'd love it if you and your mate had this memory of playing what would you say your game was called?
I used to just do Manhunt
all the time. And for all these years, you'd be like, do you remember that time we saw that man just crying on that bench? And then he goes back in the past and it's you and you're sat there looking at us and going, I miss my friends.
It's just
do you remember when that old man tried to join Manhunt with us?
When that dawn of realisation as you get older, just before you can time travel, kicks in, it's like, I know what I have to do.
You look in the mirror one day and go, I'm that old man.
Oh, man. Oh, you're talking of memories from then. There was a memory that, no, there's two. I got stuck in one of the lifts. It stopped working. It went down.
So you won the Manhunt game that day then?
And then, the door opened about 10 centimetres and it was about 10 centimetres from the floor. So it was between floors.
Mm-hmm.
So all I could see was this little gap at the very top. And no one would believe the lift would start. Everyone that walked by was like, stop pissing around, stop messing around with the lifts. And it was just, I was stuck. I had to use the alarm bell. I was so upset. But the other memory from that was two teenagers basically started following us around the inn shops. And we went up to a security guard. They won't leave us alone. What should we do? And they came up, those two have stolen our wallet.
Oh, they said that about you?
Yeah, they said that to the security guard. And he was just like, he told them to Foxtrot Oscar and told us to fuck off as well. I was like, bring your security guard. Yay, thanks.
Yeah, back then when grown-ups didn't really give a shit about kids.
Well, that was it. You could tell he didn't like his job and he didn't want to be there. And he wasn't going to just start working with kids either. No. But yeah, I would go back and I'd just get pictures of all kind of the old Odeon when it still existed and what that looked like. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about dinosaurs and going back even further than that. I was more thinking about purely selfishly about going back and looking at what I wanted, what I grew up with.
No, it's all about the dinosaurs, mate.
Okay, well, you have got a quiz for me. So I'm going to put a little bit of music in because I'm guessing this will take a little while to boot. It is Adele after all. So there's a good chance it will crash.
This is an awful laptop.
Right, back in a moment.
Can you identify the waxworks? Join us now for another Crap Quiz Corner.
Insert game show music here.
We did find game show music. I will dig it out and I will add it to before this. Don't worry, we will have that game show music.
So, is there a way that we can share PowerPoint presentations to people?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like to get a file people can download on Twitter or something.
Yeah, we'll put it up on the webpage as a downloadable link. All I've been doing is putting it in our podcast OneDrive and sharing the file and putting the link up. I really want everyone to have a go on this. I've made two, so I've got a PowerPoint presentation, which is what you're going to see. I've also made a Word document with just the numbers and the items in there for other people that they print off and they can just have. So, what is this quiz about?
Well, I'm going to get there. So, when we were in Canada, we went to this place called, I'm going to bring it, I think it's called Casa, it's a castle, Casa Loma.
Casa Loma?
In Toronto,
nice.
Casa Loma, just outside of the main city. And to get my little boy there, we had to tell him it was Windy Castle from Peppa Pig. Because we could not get him to go. And he was like, is this Windy Castle? I'm like, yeah, it's Windy Castle. And the whole way around he's going, oh, we're in Windy Castle. Anyway, that's how you tell your kids to get to a castle. Now, going around, it's quite cool. It's like it's their version of a castle. It's a manor house. It's not a castle.
Right, okay.
Lots of stuff to do with World War II was done here, like secret. This is where they created the first ever sonar.
Oh,
here to find enemy submarines. That was created here.
Okay,
yeah, fantastic stuff to do with World War II or One, whatever. I think it was World War II that they did that.
Oh my god, I'm just going to break your stance for a moment. We really wanted to go to Bletchley Park.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
£25.50 an adult, £16 something for a child.
Oh, really?
They can fuck rise off.
Yeah, you can get stuff. Now, what they had here was a section called the Hollywood section.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, this sounds really weird why they'd have that here. So to get there, you had to walk through this underground tunnel.
Of course.
Now, this underground tunnel was built by the person who owned the building because he wanted to create some kind of carriageway across the main road, but he wasn't allowed. So what he did was he built this massive tunnel. He had loads of money. And in the end, it got taken over by the Allied forces and used in their secret creation of the sonar. Anyway.
Right.
What it turned out to be was a waxwork museum.
Oh, no.
And let me tell you, I'm not that fond of waxworks anyway. I go to Madden Two Swords and I can tell who these people are. And no offence to whoever made the waxworks at this place, but until I understood why they were there, it was the most eclectic mismatch of actors and roles in films.
Yeah.
And also didn't really look like them in any way, half of them.
I was just going to say, have you seen the latest Grand Tour?
No.
There's a new one came out a couple of months ago, and whether you like Hammond, Mayo and Clarkson or not, they have always made an entertaining show, and they go to a terrible European waxworks where they steal Nigel Mansell.
Oh, God.
And it's bad.
So, what I did was as I walked around, I took a photograph of each one of the waxworks.
Oh, well done.
And who they were. I did a little sign in the idea that I want you now, so there's 12 in total, you are going to tell me who the actor is, who the waxwork's meant to be. That's the main point, but there's bonus points. If you can tell me what role they're meant to be playing. So basically the film that this actor is in the dress that they're... Because all the actors are dressed in their clothes from that film.
Right.
They're relevant to that film. And then an extra superstar bonus point so you can tell me what year that film is.
Oh, fuck me.
I'm not expecting you to get any of those, but if you can get...
I don't think I'm going to get any points at all.
And I want everyone to play this, so we'll put the stuff available.
Yeah, I'll work out how to do this, whether or not... I know we use WordPress, which is a great platform. They've got a quiz option, so I could probably take the images and the answers, and we could just run the quiz on the webpage.
Or people could just be honest and say, I've got this many points.
Yeah, true.
I don't know when he's.
I just like to make things interactive.
But yeah, no, that's yeah, we can do that too. I want everyone to watch my PowerPoint. So it took me 20 minutes. So I had about 20 minutes of my lunch break where I made the Word document and purposely a PowerPoint presentation, purposely janky because I think that's funny. And
beautiful.
Here it is.
Okay.
I'm just going to bring it over here.
Clink, clank, clonk.
The Channel 84 variety show brings to you.
Insert text.
Who's that celebrity?
It's Prison Pigeon.
You'll all understand exactly what's on the screen when you see it yourself.
Yeah, we will get this uploaded. You will have to participate in this.
Okay. Question number 1. Who is that?
Bring it closer.
You can take it now.
I'm going to take it.
You can just take the laptop.
Okay.
Press spacebar again because then the number comes up. I didn't bother doing any kind of animation orders.
It kind of looks like Scott Bakula, which it's not.
It's
meant
not
to
Scott
be.
Bakula. Oh gosh, have I saved?
Oh god, this isn't something. I'm looking at the gangster outfit. It's not meant to be something like Robert De Niro, is it?
No, I'm just trying to find my document because I didn't name it. No, well, I can tell you if you want to know.
Okay, well, I'm going to say Goodfellas, just as the film, because I haven't got a clue what else it could be.
It's not Goodfellas. The film isn't Goodfellas, and you got the actor wrong anyway.
Okay, right. Well, I haven't got a clue.
That's Richard Gere. You see it now? Now you see it?
Yes.
Now you see it?
It's one of those things, yeah. You kind of vaguely suddenly see it comes in.
Yeah. What film do you reckon that is? That he's portraying?
I've got no idea. Pretty Woman?
Chicago.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Got an idea of a year.
Chicago 88?
2002.
Really?
Apparently so.
Oh, of course
That's
it
what
is.
they wrote on their
No,
form.
yeah, it's not an old film at all. Yes, it was 2002. I was with an ex-girlfriend at the time. I remember it coming out. It was a musical.
Yeah.
Well, Chicago's a musical
I
anyway.
had no clue who the next one was.
Okay, so press space to skip next.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed it. It says 1.
No, I did say you got to press it again. I said I didn't do the order. Press it again so you get the number to come up. So, number 2, who's this?
Right.
I was really like, who the bloody hell is this?
Okay, so he's... Is this Brad Pitt?
No.
Well, I'm just that you've told me they're terrible. I mean, it kind of looks like the bloke from Chris something from To Catch a Predator in America.
No. These are all famous actors. You'll know who every one of the actors is. They're
Oh.
all household names. Every one of them is a household name.
Is the background and the setting meant to help with guessing what the film is?
Yeah, they're in the scene from one of the films that they're in. That's what I was found, because it took me till near the end before I realised what the link between all of this was. And that's what you've got to guess. There's a link between all of these 12 people.
Really?
And yeah, the films that they're in. There's a link.
Right, okay. I've got no idea.
That's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, fuck off. I can kind of see it now as well.
What film do you reckon it is?
Jean-Claude Van
I've never heard of this
Damme.
film.
It's got Dead End in the background. It's not Universal Soldier. It's going to be Sudden Impact.
Maximum Risk.
It's like bloody AI band names, isn't it? Yeah. Name a film that Jean-Claude Van Damme was in.
What year do you reckon Maximum Risk?
Maximum Risk. Oh, that's got to be 92.
Oh, 96.
Oh,
you're far off. Right, next one. Remember to keep pressing it till the number appears.
Oh, well, that's Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yay.
Sex in the City.
No, Extreme Measures.
Of course, that well-known one that she's recently been.
What year? Early, before 2000.
97.
96, again. Next one, you'll get the next one.
Not too far off, but that's the closest to looking like someone at the moment.
That's the closest one out of all of them. Number 4 is number
Groot.
4. That's right.
It's Vin Diesel looking. He's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah. What's he in? What have they? They could have chosen
The Pacifier.
Yeah, Correct.
Because of the baby stuff. That's the only.
And
I've
what-
never seen it.
What year do you reckon that is?
Pacifiers 2001?
5.
5.
Now, bear in mind, I still don't know why they chose the pacifier as the film for this. So I do know at the end, but when I'm taking this photo, I'm like, why the bloody hell of all of his films have they chosen the pacifier?
It's a really interesting choice because it's like a Disney one as well. So I thought maybe they didn't go with Fast and Furious because it's still in the headline, so they were worried about people coming after them. But the pacifier is a Disney film. They go after everyone, whether you've done a good thing or a bad thing.
When you find out why, you'll realise what an idiot I felt at the end. Right, number 5.
Wow. Oh, well, it's given away in the picture. It's Jackie Chan in the tuxedo.
It is Jackie Chan in tuxedo. I didn't take a very good photo. What year is that?
2001.
2002.
2002. Okay.
Next one.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Oh dear. Take a closer look. Not that that's going to be any benefit.
You won't guess the film. I was so surprised if you guessed the film that this dude's in.
A skateboard on the floor.
Do you even remotely recognise him?
No, I don't. But there's red and blue kind of scarves around him. There's a city background to him. He's got a skateboard next to him. He's wearing a very shiny tuxedo with a black shirt rather than a white shirt.
Yeah.
I'll just throw a random guess. Nicolas Cage.
Chris Evans.
That
can't see
looks
it.
more like Chris Evans, the ginger twat from the England, than Chris Evans, the American actor.
What film is that portraying that he's in?
I don't even know. Captain America?
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I think you've
Never
seen
seen
that.
it.
Yeah.
Never
What year,
seen it.
Scott Pilgrim. It's a really, really good film.
2006.
2010.
Oh, later than I thought. Fair
Right,
enough.
next one, you've got to guess them both.
That's Mike Myers.
Yes.
And
You'll know who the actress is, but I would never in a million years have guessed who.
yeah, it's not I Married an Axe Murderer, is it, the film?
Again, why I was like, why would you pick this film out of all of?
Well,
Mike
exactly. It's
Myers'
not
films?
Wayne's World. It's not in fact, no, that was Michael J. Fox, I think. No, or was it?
Now, he's not in the main costume from this film. If he was in the main costume from this film, you would have got him instantly, the film. You wouldn't have got the actor, but you would have got the film. She's in the same film too.
I'm just trying to think of films that Mike Myers been in. The only one I can other think is The Guru, which I've never actually watched. It's The Guru, is it?
That's Love Guru, yeah.
So
who's the actress with him? Same film.
I don't know who was in it. It wasn't someone like Cameron Diaz,
That's
was
Jessica Alba, apparently. I don't think that looks even remotely like
it?
Jessica
No, he's not too bad.
He's all right.
Obviously a lot of money went into these, but
Yeah,
they decided to kind of knock it down through the. Oh my! What is that?
Number 9.
KRP guys, you're going to love this. I think we'll email this to them because they need to do this. Chris Pine?
That's Paul Walker.
Oh.
Don't look like Paul Walker at all, I didn't think.
No. No.
Okay, what films, out of all the films you know that Paul Walker was in...
I only know him from Fast and the Furious.
Apparently he was in a film called The Skulls.
Of course he was.
In 2000.
Of course, why not? Okay. Is that
It's a lady. Number 10, it's a lady.
That's it's not good old Storm from X-Men, is it? Halle Berry.
Halle Berry, yeah. And you got the film right, X-Men.
Oh, it's from X-Men. I was going to say
year?
Catwoman.
What year?
X-Men. We've talked about this before. Is it 97?
2000.
Was it? Oh, it was. Yeah, you're right. 2000.
Yeah. Next one.
Oh God, there's more.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, film.
Oh God, are these all X-Men? Were they all in Marvel?
Next couple are. Next one after this one was an X-Men 2.
Oh my God, Patrick Stewart! What have they done to you?
Patrick Stewart, is it? Okay.
At least they didn't put him in a wheelchair.
No, he wasn't in a wheelchair. Right. So you've got 12 actors in a very eclectic mix of films from a random year set. What links them all?
Is it one film that links them, or is it a film series?
It's a place.
It's a place. Well, it's not England.
You're not going to get it because I was like, I'm a fucking idiot when I realised.
Oh, really?
Because it's so eclectic. Why could they possibly have a Hollywood section with random actors with films that aren't even their best films all in one place?
I'm probably going to kick myself when you say this. Go on.
They were all fucking filmed there.
Oh, God damn it. They were all filmed in Canada.
I was at the end. By the time I got to the end, I kept saying to friends, like, I couldn't get over the Vin Diesel's one. I just couldn't get over the pacifier. And
why would you choose the pacifier
and the Love Guru?
over...
I was like, if you're going to have Mike Myers, the Love Guru is not the film you'd pick. It'd be
it's a terrible
Austin
film.
Powers or Wayne's World.
Absolutely.
You would never pick Love Guru. Chris Evans was like, why is he not dressed as Captain America?
But the thing is part of those films probably were filmed in Canada. So much of the Avengers was because it was almost always Toronto gets used as a replacement.
Got photos of the sign that was next to each one.
Right.
And when I actually I walked back in because I was so confused. It says at the bottom, rooms. And it's rooms of the main house where scenes from those films were taken. So the corridor in X-Men for the school is the main corridor of Casa Loma.
They were
filmed Casa Loma, the building.
Now.
They were filmed
I
in
thought you
that
meant they were
building.
just filmed in Canada. It's like so much has been filmed in.
They were filmed in
Casa
that
Loma.
building. Yeah.
Oh, that makes much more sense then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. Actually, I like
felt
that.
Stupid by the end of it.
As terrible as they are, I quite liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stick that on OneDrive. We've got a week and a half before this episode comes out. I'm going to send that to the KRP guys.
Maybe we could just fix it so the numbers come up first when you press enter.
No. Well, you can, if you want to fix that before you send it to me.
I don't actually know how to. So
you go into animations and order,
Let's
and then
not.
you check.
I want it to stay
exactly.
The front page says insert text here. So if you didn't notice, I'm going to leave
we
all
will
of
get
it
that
in.
sent over before they get a chance to listen to it and hear the answers, because I'm sorry, but no. Bad people.
Yeah.
But we went to Madame Tussauds recently. I wasn't impressed.
No.
Having grown up hearing and seeing pictures of how wonderful that, and some of them were, but you can also tell that when once upon a time they used to make the whole body, because they cared and they had the money to, you can now tell we've just got mannequins and we've stuck head and arms on them, and that's basically it.
So they've just spent all their time doing the face and the rest there's no effort.
Some of them it's not wonderful anymore. So yeah, you get the arms and you get the head basically, but the bodies all tend to be fairly generic mannequin bodies they're dressed up, and they don't get me wrong, they look at them a million times better than anything I could bloody well do, but it certainly isn't what I always expect, because it was only the first time I ever went with Minnie Madam, because we'd got our Merlin passes, and I said, let's go, I think you'll enjoy it, and she absolutely adored it. But other than it's a little bit creepy, it's
too uncanny.
I kind of expected it to be way better than it was, just based on what people had told me of how it used to be. And I've spoken to a few people now, and they said how it used to be was amazing compared to what it is now. So
my mum took me when I was younger.
Yeah, well, where it is now, I remember that being the London observatory, because we went there on a school trip and we got to see the planets and the galaxies on the giant dome. So a bit disappointed that doesn't exist anymore, really. Anyway, let's have a quick sound effect. Thank you very much for listening to another episode of our glorious variety show. You know what, when I created the whole Channel 84 variety show name, I thought, am I going to keep this? Is this going to work? And actually, this podcast has really helped hammer it home that actually I made the right choice on the name, because it wouldn't have worked just as a YouTube channel. But for this, it's perfect. So I'm really pleased with it. Anyway, you can follow us on various social medias, and they are almost always @_Channel84 or @FlatRob. If you want those direct links, just head to our webpage, which is channel84.co.uk, where you can also get our email address, which is podcast@channel84.co.uk. If you do follow us on social media, please send us a message. If you want to email us, send us an email. We will respond, we will talk to you, we will interact. And that's what we love about our audience so far, is everyone has been really keen to talk to us, and we really want to make sure you guys know that we will always talk back. Also, if you can, head over to places like Apple Podcasts, over to Spotify, whichever your podcast player of choice it is, whether it's Google or Amazon, and leave a review for us, because those reviews really do help us get found on people's algorithms and makes people go, oh, well, if that's being suggested, let's give them a listen. So far, the reviews have been absolutely glorious. Honestly, just been blown away by what we've had put up about us.
Very happy, yeah.
All positive as well, which is just really, it really makes us happy. So if you don't mind leaving us a review, it would be really good. But Rob, have you got anything else you would like to share?
I'm going to open up a PO box so you can send me loads of Lurpak.
The King of Lurpak has spoken. And on that note, love you.
Love you.
Thank you for listening to the Channel 84 Variety Show. This station is now shutting down and will be back in 2 weeks. Excelsior.